so I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
How we doing, everyone? Foul Territory Toddfather takeover begins on Frazier Friday. Brock Holt in the house, and Brock's the star today. You know why?
Why's that?
Because he hooked us up with his boy coming up later on.
Ooh, thank you. Good job.
Mookie Betts
Yep.
later in the show.
Yep.
Brock Star, your boy from Boston.
You're welcome. You're welcome. got the MVP, 2018 MVP. He's got no chance to win it this year, or years coming up, because Shohei's going to the National League. We've decided via trade or in the off season. So if he wants to win one in the National League, he better pick it up.
Oh, baby.
Well, you got to be careful too with him, right? Because when they asked him about Ohtani at the All-Star game, did you see? He was like, hey, him and Freddie Freeman were like, we're not trying to do any tampering here. They basically were like, we don't need to say anything else.
No.
We know we've got the edge right now in the offseason.
Yeah,
so
I
we
mean,
don't
I
get in any trouble.
I think that's what that was. Like, hey, we know he's going to be a Dodger, so we don't need to say anything.
Crazy.
We also have Tyler Glasnow, who's going to join us about a half hour after Mookie joins us, and Tim Dillard, who used to play, funny dude, great follow on social, and also covers the Brewers. So we'll get into first place, Milwaukee. Kratz will join us next week. His book tour continues right now, so check it out on Amazon. Tao of the Backup Catcher. It's great. Charge the mound, shall we? Let's start with the game of the night, Baltimore and Tampa Bay. And the Orioles are taking control of the American League East and the American League right now. They just played better baseball overall. Tampa Bay was a little sloppy in the game yesterday. Orioles defense was real tight. This was kind of what I would say the front office would dream about heading into the season, and use your big boys in the back end, especially Bautista, who looked untouchable. Baltimore's legit, man.
Yeah, I think it's not fair, because if they do go in extra innings, which they did, if they get that one run, I'd want to be the visiting team, knowing I got the big guy coming in. So you get that one run, even if you have a guy in second and third, you're going to get a lot of strikeouts. Bautista's doing a heck of a job. I got to be honest, I didn't see this coming, man. I didn't see it coming at all. I knew they were a good team. I didn't know this is what they were going to do this year. We got a lot of underlying Orioles fans that live in Jersey that all of a sudden they're coming out of the woodwork like, oh, Frazier, remember I told you about this team? Oh, yeah, well, it's been 5-10 years. Relax here. But I'm happy for this squad. They're doing great things over there, and well-deserved, man. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. I mean, it's right now you see the Rays and Orioles, and they're kind of going two separate directions. But it's fun to root for teams like the Orioles. You know, they've kind of rebuilt and retooled, and they've got a bunch of young players. They've added a few veterans here and there, and I think right now they just have the confidence, right? They're winning games, and they're winning them in different ways and playing good baseball, and that builds over time and over a long season. And right now they're playing really well, and it looks like they might be the team to beat there in the AL East.
Yeah, and give credit to Hyde, man, the manager. I remember facing him in Double-A. He was a spark plug, getting thrown out every other game, and he's kind of calmed down, and he's rearing this team back and saying, here, this is what we got. Go out there and freaking play, man. And that's what they're doing. They're playing the game, and it's, might not be the most exciting, it might not be the most flashy, but they're getting it done, taking the extra base, doing the little things right, making the plays, and that's fun baseball to me, making sure everything is done right. It's crossing your T's, dotting your I's, and the boys are coming to play, man. And I never thought Tampa would get taken over, especially after their hot start, but that's why you play baseball 24/7, baby. Let's go. I can't wait to see the final here.
Here's my thing. Baltimore has a chance to win a World Series this year, which is wild, if they acquire a lot more pitching, in my mind.
Sure.
I'll tell you why. And they got Fuji the other day. That should help in the bullpen. But Cano, it's been the back end, him and Bautista. Cano has something going on right now. The arm slot keeps going down. They were pointing it out on the Orioles broadcast, and then it was shown by some dudes on social afterwards. There's less life on the fastball. He's giving up more hard contact. Some of these dudes haven't pitched like this in big spots deep into a season, and you don't want to over-rely on your back end, those two guys. So in my mind, if I'm Baltimore, yes, I'm looking for at least one top-end starter, then another starter to fill into the rotation for depth, and then I'm looking at still at least one more high-leverage bullpen arm, if not two.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, easier said than done.
Yeah.
But you know what makes it
Yeah,
easier?
yeah.
When we talked to Ken Rosenthal yesterday, and he goes, the Orioles have like too many prospects. They can't even play all their position players everywhere. So I'm like, sounds like a great problem for a trade. So we're going to push it every day until they keep making moves.
And I would love to see that. But at the same time, the prospects they've been bringing up have been doing their job too as well. So they're doing something right in the minor league system. They're getting after it. And when these guys are coming up, they're hitting on all cylinders. So do you want to get rid of those prospects? Do you want to take your chance on bringing up one or two of those guys to fill in a void? Or do you want to take your chance? They picked up Aaron Hicks, which I thought, was a good pickup. I didn't think he was going to be as good as he was. Kind of fed it off a little bit, but still, they're picking up guys that are just jumping on the train and saying, you know what? Come on in. Let's go. We're doing the same thing. I'm going to follow you guys. And I can't say it enough. It's just the fun times in Baltimore. And they're gonna be a fun team to watch here late.
Rays have lost 5 in a row. Brock, who do you like better, the Rays or the Blue Jays?
Oh, man, that's tough. The Rays the Rays always just find a way, right? Like they're probably going through this tough stretch right now, but we've seen it. They can go on a run and win X amount of games in a row. Blue Jays have so much talent though on that roster. I think with a few additions, they have a chance to make a run as well. I mean, that's what the AL East is. I mean, you look at it, the Yankees are in last place, right? But I mean, they're still, over 500 and they are capable of making a run as well. So the AL East is tough. Every team is good. But I guess to answer your question, I'd have to stay with the Rays, just because they're always finding a way to get it done somehow, some way. So, I'm anxious to see what they do, trade deadline, what additions they make, to help them going down the stretch.
I think I might like the Blue Jays better than the Rays in a playoff series.
The
thing is, it's close, correct?
No, I don't think.
You don't think it's close? You think the Rays are much better?
Because of what the Rays have been through the last couple of years, they've been there and done it. If you're talking about pieces, okay, we could talk about pieces, but the overall statue in a 5-game, 7-game series, I'm taking the Rays all day.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, no, all good. Let's get to some trade rumors. We're spreading rumors every day here for the next couple weeks on FT Live. So I'll throw 2 things at you. One, just props to Michael Lorenzen. He's pitching like a stud right now. And dude can hit, too, in case anyone wants him in a pinch. 18 2/3 scoreless in his last 3 starts for the Tigers. And there's JP Morosi saying the Astros and the Rays are among the teams considering him at the deadline. I would think just about any team interested in a starter. Now, he's not a 1, but this is a guy who's, middle of the rotation, the way he's pitching right now?
Yeah, I mean, he started off slow. I played with him with the Reds coming up a little bit. He just came up. And you saw the potential. You did. He's a strong – we had him on before. He's a strong human being. He works out. I didn't see this coming either. It's just one of those things where I thought he was just going to be middle road average, coming out hot right now at the right time. He's a guy that's going to get in there and give it his best shot. And any team right now would use a guy like this.
He was an all-star, too.
Yeah, all-star. I mean, we talked about the Orioles. I mean, this is a good spot for him, too, as well. Like, any team that's trying to get in the playoffs would just bode well with this kind of pitching. I mean, like you said, it's not a number 1. He's not a number 2, but he's going to be there, and he's going to battle his butt off. And the way he's going right now, he's comfortable, and I love it.
I'll go Lorenzen as my 3 in a playoff series.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got a guy. I mean, give me a guy with those biceps and those arms, and also with a pair of Vans on the mound. Like, the dude pitches in Vans. He goes and skateboards after he's done shutting out a lineup. But yeah, I mean, he's been great. And like you said, I mean, he's not going to be a 1. He's not going to be a 2. But to add him into a rotation that's already got those guys, he'll give you a chance to win every time, and that's what you're looking for down the stretch. And he'll add to a starting rotation and give you a chance to win.
Okay, and lastly, Ohtani's on the mound tonight. You want to make sure he's all good. He had the blister bothering him towards the end of the first half of the season. And technically, before the trade deadline, not saying he's getting traded, but before the trade deadline, he would have 2 more starts. This one and 1 more coming up, I believe. So there was an article put out by Sam Blum in The Athletic, kind of throwing Trout and Rendon's names into the mix to say, hey, what if they tried to clear some payroll there with players like that? And you're like, wait, clear payroll with Trout? Well, this is a team that probably is going to be rebuilding, you would think, once Ohtani leaves in the offseason. So it's not crazy to think. I think the Rendon side of things is probably where the Angels want to go. But my thing when I'm reading this, because I know he spoke to some people in the industry to consider it, Brock, I'm like, I think owners are way too cheap and have like way too much of this money pride that they would rather not take Rendon's contract than take on Ohtani as a rental. If it's Ohtani for multiple years, it's a different conversation, but I don't see it at all. I would put the percentage chance of Rendon being attached to an Ohtani deal, honestly, at 0. I could not see any owner being like, yeah, I'm going to take a real, tough contract right now on just to take on Ohtani. I think these dudes are too cheap.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I'm biased when it comes to Anthony Rendon, right? I played with him in college. One of my really good friends. When he's healthy, I mean, he's had some bad luck recently, with injuries and scuffles with fans and here, this and that. But he's a great dude, man. Great dude who I would love to have on my team. Obviously, we saw what he was able to do with the Nationals, and he played almost every game for them and was top 5 in MVP. So if I could get a guy like Anthony, knowing that I'm going to get Anthony Rendon and have a healthy third baseman who can play and hit in the middle of my lineup, like, I want guys like that. I want good major league players, and he's one of them. But right now, that contract doesn't look great, and like you said, it would be hard, I think, for most owners, even though most everyone can afford it, to take it on.
Yeah, and he's always been a solid player. It's funny because I think about my career too. At the end, I got injuries. It's weird. Like as you get older, I guess your body doesn't work, and I never thought it wouldn't be like that. And things happen. It's been unfortunate. I'm not saying his body's bad, but it's just one of those things where you get older, you got to keep pushing, you got to keep getting bigger and stronger, and do the little things. And just been unfortunate. I would agree with you. I think it would be a hard sell with him for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're saying, hey, you know what? Instead of prospects, we'll take on money kind of thing, right? Or we'll dump money. We don't want the prospects if you're the Angels.
Yeah.
I don't think an owner would do that. And also if you're Angels fans are like, that's it. We're going to give up the most prized possession at the trade deadline maybe ever for clearing money. Like that's not a good sell. You got to sell me the future if I'm trading away a superstar.
And like you said, if Ohtani goes, rebuild.
Yes.
That's the word.
But that sucks for your boy Trout.
You're not going to get rid of him. We'll get into that, but we will talk about that a little later. But yes,
okay.
It would have to be a rebuild.
Yep. All right. Let's queue up our first poll question of the day, trade deadline talk. Okay, let's get it going. Scan the QR code on the screen or watchstadium.com/foul territory. Which player is most likely to be traded at the deadline? Lucas Giolito, Shohei Ohtani, Max Scherzer, Juan Soto, Marcus Stroman. Sometimes we really like to make you think. In my mind, for this one,
pretty easy, right?
Super easy.
Really?
Don't say it yet. Or we could say, don't say it yet. I want to see what everyone else decides.
Super easy.
I think it's very easy.
There's only one that comes to my mind that is most likely.
Most likely. Hold it.
Most likely.
We'll swing it back.
Like most likely, like almost 100%.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. There is one dude who is almost 100% getting dealt. Like he would have to get hurt today. Otherwise, he's getting traded. The rest of them all are not a lock. There's a guy in my mind who's a clear-cut number 2. We'll go over it. Let's see what you have in the comment section. Go vote, and then we'll come back and go over the NL Central. Tim Dillard's going to join us. Funny dude, and also he's watching a good ball club right now.
You're always hedging for the future, and you can understand that. You can understand why in any given year a team might say, well, if we do this, this, and this, it's going to compromise us down the line. Where the Orioles are different, and I've written this a few times now, they have not just great prospects, they've got duplicates. they have too many players for a 26-man roster going forward. They're not going to be able to keep them all. So, given what you just said, AJ, about the American League being down, and I agree with this totally, you're not going to have many years where the Yankees and Red Sox are in the state that they're in right now. Yes, they should be more aggressive than they normally would. Now, will they? I don't know. I wrote yesterday that if Ohtani becomes available, and I don't believe he will still, but if he does, they should be the team because they have duplicates. They can do this and take a shot. The $10 million that he's going to earn after the deadline shouldn't be prohibitive for any team. And here are the Orioles in this dogfight with Tampa Bay, and in a year in which the Astros are also down. Hey, you've got a shot here, and you've got something special going, and why not take that shot? I don't know that it will be Ohtani in the end, and they made a minor trade yesterday. We can get to that, which actually should help them a little bit if Fujinami can translate to what he was doing in Oakland over to Baltimore. But they definitely knew to do things, and I expected them, and I thought they would be more active in the offseason. That was the time. They didn't do a whole lot. So they've been hedging, and they've been hedging and hedging and hedging, like a lot of teams do. You're right, AJ. It's time to go.
And now back to foul territory.
Hey, look who it is. Haven't seen him in a minute. Tim Dillard. What's going on, dude? How you been?
What's going on, guys?
Good to see you there, big dog.
What's up, Toddfather?
How you been?
Good, man. Good. Just hanging out in a hotel here in Milwaukee watching some exciting baseball. Can't really complain about that.
Yeah, we'll eat up some time for you.
I thought you'd be at like a neighbor's house or just a random house sleeping there. You're at a hotel now?
Well, I did that. So I retired and I didn't know what to do and started broadcasting for the Brewers. And then all of a sudden I realized I don't live in Milwaukee. I live in Nashville. So I needed a place to crash. So I reached out to social media. And so, yeah, I started sleeping on people's couches across Milwaukee area. So if you need some places to eat, I know where to go.
Let me ask you this. So that's why I want to get into it real quick. When you did that, like, were they making breakfast for you? Was there like meals prepared, or you had to like help out a little bit? Talk to us about that whole scenario. That's pretty amazing.
I mean, I pulled my weight. I wouldn't suggest anyone doing it though. My wife was like, I feel like you're going to be murdered. Honestly, like I'm showing up at people's houses. I get done broadcasting at like 11 o'clock at night, and I show up at these people's houses like midnight. But it was great. Slept on about 15 or 16 couches. A few times I did get breakfast. Most of the time I was just kind of on my own. But it was amazing. It was a cool experience. My back told me that I need to stop doing that. My wife as well. So yeah, now I'm just kicking it around different hotels and living the life.
So what was it like here? Did we DM on Twitter or what, or say, hey, I'll be late home late tonight. Can you leave the key under the mat? Can you leave the key under the rocks? This random guy with a beard is gonna come sleep on your couch. How did that come about?
That's exactly what happened. It was Facebook, mainly Twitter and Instagram, because I'm not great at Facebook, which is probably for the best. But yeah, that's exactly what I did. I didn't know how long I'd get this gig. I didn't know if I'd be good at it. Didn't want to commit to an apartment if I was going to get fired real quick. So I figured I'll just stay on the fly. I was a minor leaguer for, almost 2 decades. So for me, the travel life in this way, I was kind of used to it. But people were really cool. They couldn't believe that I showed up on their doorstep, with a duffel bag.
Well, Tim, I would certainly welcome you, and you're a keeper for the Brew Crew and their broadcast. But I would have a stipulation. Like if I was a hardcore Milwaukee Brewers fan and you show up, I'd be like, yo, you got to give me a little bit of like free analysis on the Brewers. I want to do a little Q&A, right? Did you get any of that where they're like, tell me about the Brew Crew, but like real talk, like we're doing on this show, like mixed in some curse words, like tell me the real good, the real bad. So
I mean, there was a lot of, I couldn't offer too much analysis. I'm not that great at analysis, but I did give like all the giveaways away. So if they have a giveaway at the ballpark, I would just take that. That was almost like what I paid people in to sleep on their couch, was like bobbleheads, right? I got a Locaine bobblehead. If you let me crash here for the night, became currency. Just like in baseball, like a baseball, if you're in the bullpen, could get you a jumbo pretzel, a licorice rope, the works.
All right, so then tell me what you would tell Brewers fans right now about where this team is at, and now with trade deadline season coming up, what would you like to see them do? Remember, you do not run the front office, so you can do the broadcast thing and dare to dream.
Yeah, nobody wants me running anything important. What I would say to the fans is be excited. I mean, this is a great team. It really is. And they have overcome a lot of injuries, and they still have some more out there. And they don't really need to do a whole lot. They're winning ball games. They're winning close games. The bullpen, the back end of the actually the entire bullpen. Let's just say the entire bullpen has been lights out. The starting rotation, Corbin Burns went 8 scoreless yesterday. That was fantastic to watch. You got Brandon Woodruff coming back. And then you talk about the defense, one of the top 3 defenses in all of baseball. It's just an exciting team. They're keeping runs off the board, and they are scoring some runs. If they could add one thing, I would say go find a guy that bats 280 and bat him in the 4, 5, or 6 hole. Doesn't have to hit a bunch of home runs. Just a couple extra, 1 or 2 base hits a game is really all they really need, because at every position they're pretty good.
Okay, so how do they win a World Series then? I mean, I think, and I'm trying to look it up on the fly here from an offensive perspective. Where are we at this year in terms of runs scored right now? We are 20. That's an OPS, 26. Let's see, runs scored, and you know this stuff better than I do, but Milwaukee is 24th in runs scored now. Tim,
Yeah,
that's not
news to me.
I do not know that.
Tim,
All news to
that's
me,
not
Bronny.
World Series
Well,
winning.
it is whenever Corbin Burns on the mound, right?
No
Strike
doubt.
out
Yeah, but Corbin doesn't
12 a
pitch
game,
every
yeah,
day.
but- no, that's the thing. Yeah, and you got Woodruff coming back, like you said. That's a huge thing. But yeah, I'd say add something offensive that you can plug into the middle of the lineup, like you said, and let them carry you. I mean, Brewers has always been pitching, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pitching is what they've been known for. So, but I think they need a little bit of offensive help.
Yeah, I mean, everybody could use offensive help, right? I mean, that's pretty standard. Here's what you don't want. You guys know you're in a clubhouse. You don't want a huge turnover. Don't make 5 moves, and then all of a sudden your buddy that's in a locker next to you is gone, and here's another guy, and then you have 2 new pieces in the bullpen. You got a new starter. You don't want a whole bunch of change at the deadline. Make one good move. Make one move, a guy that could possibly DH until Jesse Winker gets hot, because he is. Or something like that, but just don't add a lot of pieces, because I really don't think they need a lot of pieces. And plus, you got Rowdy Tellez hopefully coming back strong in the next month or 6 weeks, and so everyone getting healthy and lining up, it's going to look good. And there's not just 1 or 2 guys hot right now. There's a lot of guys that are contributing and swinging the bat, but we can't say enough about Christian Yelich and William Contreras. Those guys are just, every single at bat is a must watch.
That's very true. So for me and you understand, and Brock as well, that, hitters go through lulls, they get hot, they get cold. So knowing the hitters they have right now, do you think what they're doing right now, they're going to ride this whole wave going through? Or, hear me out, all of a sudden a couple struggles go here and there. That's how baseball is. My question on that would be, do they have the prospects enough to get that one batter, that one arm, if they see themselves going a little downward slide here in the next 2-3 weeks?
I mean, if they figure out what piece they want, they could get it. They have a lot of prospects. I don't know which ones they'd want to give up, because they have so many good ones on the way up. I don't know who it would be, but they can definitely deal for somebody big. And here's what you don't want as well. You don't want to get through the trade deadline and realize we should have made a move, right? Like what if the offense goes cold again, and you're like, well, why didn't we get anybody? We had an opportunity to do that. So I feel like that's what they'll do. I don't know why they would go get a starting pitcher. I don't know why they would go get somebody in the bullpen. The only person I would bring back in the bullpen would probably be Brent Suter. If he's healthy right now out in Colorado, he's putting up a stellar year in Colorado, which we all know is ridiculous to pitch in. So bring him back, because it wouldn't cause a big stir, because he was a Brewer for so long and everybody knows him and loves him. So I think it's all about keeping that clubhouse as tight as possible, more so than, hey, let's go get the best player at every position that can hit a ton and we'll just plug those guys in. I don't think you want that. I go back to the Brewers in 2011. I think one of the biggest pickups that they got down the stretch was just getting Jerry Hairston Jr. Didn't seem like a big deal at the time, but he filled in at third base and did a fantastic job. And boom, Brewers go to the playoffs.
Okay, so clearly I want to see a bat or two, but
Sure.
playing off what you just said, I'm going to paint a picture for you because we all remember in Milwaukee how CC Sabathia took over for that time period, right? I think we could see a similar excitement level because it would be such a plot twist if, let's say, the Padres lose like 7 of the next 9 and they're like, you know what, screw it, we're out of it. They trade Hader back to the Brewers for the stretch run. How sick would that be? Come on.
That would be cool. I would love that. I love Hader. We were teammates. He's just an amazing presence in the clubhouse. You saw what it did when they traded him. Everybody was like, what is going on? They've even admitted that probably wasn't the best way to go. But if you get him back, then what do you do? Devin Williams has been just as good or better. So what do you do? Who pitches in the 8th inning? Who pitches in the 9th inning? And you got to flip that coin. But right now they have some really good guys. Elvis Peguero, Yoel Payamps, Devin Williams. Hobie Milner was on Intentional Talk yesterday. That's how good he is. How many times you get like a bridge man in the bullpen that's on Intentional Talk, right? Like, let's pull the camera out of the dugout, slap the headphones on. He's been that good. Bryce Wilson as well. So you can go up and down the bullpen. Abner Uribe, who they just called up, just had his 3rd appearance yesterday, throwing 102 miles an hour with movement. Good luck hitting that. Right now, Craig Counsell is probably feeling really good about his bullpen. But if you could add Josh Hader and do it easily, I mean, why not, right?
No, why not? It's true. Hey, I want to talk about the division real quick because I did a couple games for the Reds. They were exciting to watch. Ellie De La Cruz is an absolute monster. I know you guys just came off huge series against them. That was a phenomenal coming off the break there. Do you see those Redlegs coming right behind you, or do you see them even making the playoffs? What are your thoughts on that team? You've probably seen them a little more than I did.
I've seen them a ton, actually. Yeah. 3 before the All-Star break and then 3 after. They're an exciting club. If you'd have told me that the Brewers were going to steal more bases than the Reds in the last series, I would have said you're crazy, especially when Ellie De La Cruz stole 2nd, 3rd, and home in one game at American Family Field. Just electric. The whole lineup's really good. They're young. I would say if they could add some starting pitching, that would help. They have some good ones, but they're missing Hunter Green right now. Maybe an arm in the bullpen. But for the most part, they're really good. Ellie De La Cruz is he's special. If you watch that guy play, he is special, and I don't think they're going away anytime soon. I think the Reds are good. I'm kind of sad about the Pirates. They did really well. I think they're an exciting ball club, and then they've had some injuries. But I think at the end of the season, I think you have to look at it. It's going to be Brewers and Reds.
Yeah, we're talking about all this adding players. But we got Big Woo on the horizon, starting his rehab. I'm curious as to know how he's feeling. How's it going? How long do we think it's going to take for him to get back into the rotation?
Sure. First off, I have a shirt of his that he gave me. It's got his face on it, screaming. It says Big Woo. I told him I would wear it on air as soon as he gets that start back from the injured list. I talked to him the other day a good bit, and I mean, he feels really good. They didn't know exactly what the time frame would be because he threw a couple of bullpens, took about 9 days off before he got back on the bump. And I mean, he has turned it up to 11 right now is what it is. He threw yesterday. He's going out to Dayton, Ohio to play the Dragons, right? And I told him, I was like, they sell out like every game for the last 20 years. So expect a good crowd. He just feels good. I think right now it's just about building up the innings, the up downs, getting the pitch count ready. They've been extra careful with him. But we had a great conversation talking about as you get older, the things that you add to your repertoire to not just arsenal, but with how you keep yourself healthy and how you keep yourself athletic. And you do have to make adjustments going forward. So he talked about a little bit of his workout stuff and things that he's tweaked in a good way. And I think he feels really good. Craig Counsell said probably not going to be 5 rehab starts, hoping for 3, but most likely will be 4. But I promise you talk to Brandon Woodruff, he probably is sitting on 3.
Hey, by the way, I forgot to say in the beginning, happy birthday. You just turned 40, man. Congratulations.
Dude, scouts watch this, man.
Oh, sure. I know.
You trying to make a comeback?
I didn't know you were trying.
I'm 25, man.
Are you going to go to
That's
the DR and
crazy.
come back? Is that what you're going to do? Or Japan? Where you headed?
Yeah. I'll just drop Tim Dillard completely, come back as Dim Tilliard. No, I mean, that's a real thing. No, every once in a while, I feel like, man, I could make a comeback. And Brock, you live in Nashville now, right? If you need some batting practice, let's go.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I'm all.
I don't know if I'm making a comeback. So
yeah, right.
So it may just be I'll just play catch with you to strengthen up the shoulder and get you back ready to go.
100%. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I'm watching a game, I'm thinking, I don't think I could play in the big leagues, but I think I could play in the minor leagues to an extent. And my wife is just there to sit there and say, absolutely not. No more of that. You did it too much. But I got kids now, and I got to keep in shape. So if you need some batting practice, that's pretty much what my bullpens are right now anyways, is batting practice.
Hey, this for you, Brock, too. Have you guys got asked to play for the Alumni Association games? I got asked to play against the Savannah Bananas a couple times, and I denied them so far. I'm like, I'm not ready. Have you been asked yet?
Nobody's
called
called me yet.
All right. Yeah,
I need to put I'll put my phone number out there. I kind of want to play. So
okay,
you got a pen.
I'll make sure you get invited.
Do not put your phone number out there.
I'm kidding. No, I actually got asked twice to manage the Savannah Bananas.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I did a Zoom call and everything and talk through it. No, it's not really. I mean, I was ready to do it, but I was still kind of playing, but it didn't work out. But I do want to say that, Frazier, thanks for throwing me a ball during batting practice. What was that, 2 years ago? You talk about a flex. I'm in the restaurant in left field at American Family Field. I'm yelling at you, and you just turned and threw me a ball. Dude, that went a long way with everyone sitting there eating their meals. So appreciate it, man.
What is it? Were there Fridays out there? What is it?
Yeah, it was, and then it was the restaurant to be named later. Right now, it's the Line Kugel Barrel Yard. So got to check that out.
Frazier,
I threw like four or five balls at you.
Frazier, you didn't know though that he used that ball as currency to stay the night at some random.
Need you to authenticate that when it comes back around.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, I want to get your take on Ohtani. So, from a trade perspective, it's the hottest topic in the game. If you are Artie Moreno and you own the Angels, but you're owning them for the long term, keep that in mind, okay? Like, let's say you're keeping them for at least another 5 to 10 years. What are you doing?
Do whatever you can to keep him. Look at Aaron Judge. Was it last year? We're all wondering the same thing. And you almost have to create a team backed by the entire Western Hemisphere to put in funds to figure out how you keep some of these guys. But if you have Ohtani, I mean, think about it. Think about what you're going to get from him for the foreseeable future on the mound, at the plate. Everyone's going to want to see him. His jersey sells through the roof. Do whatever you can to keep the guy because he is a marvel. He is an absolute marvel in this game. So you're not just getting a player. He's actually, really good with fans. And just think about what it's going to be down the road. So I don't know. I think you go for it. Do whatever you can. And
yeah, but Tim,
there's
a wrinkle to this, okay? So we had lunch today, and you were like, dude, we're going to give you the best offer we can. And I'm like, yeah, we already had this 5-year relationship or whatever it was, and it's not working out. I'm definitely leaving. Now what?
Who's going to take him?
No, would you trade him right now? That's the
Would
big
I
question.
trade him? I mean, they know more about the details going on. None of this sneaks around. I think there's a lot of conversations. If you can deal him, you would get back the world. That's what you would get. You would get anything you wanted.
My point is, if you're the Angels, don't you want to have a contending team now for the next 5 years?
That's true. I don't know. I'm barely an analyst. Y'all put MLB Insider on the little Twitter thing,
Well,
and I was like,
I'm not asking you to break
that's a stretch.
news. I'm doing a little. We're doing a little acting here because that's the big topic.
I mean, you just ask for whatever you want. If it's starting pitching, if it's bullpen, just go and get it all. Shop around, and whoever gets Ohtani that's on the bubble to make playoffs is going to make playoffs. Like whoever gets Ohtani is going to go in the playoffs. And if you're a team that's already really good and you get him, then you're probably going to the World Series. He's going to be that good. there's not a lot of guys in the game that you could just sit there and rely that they're going to produce. And he has proved it in his entire career. He's going to produce. And if, hey, heaven forbid something happens and there's an injury there, he could still pitch. Or if it's a different injury, he could still hit. So I don't know. I think that it's a very little risk for a lot of reward. So there's going to be a team out there. If the Angels are going to deal, there's going to be some teams lined up.
No doubt about it. Tim, thanks for coming on, bro. And just I want to make sure next time you're on, the AC is off because you look a little cold wherever you're at. I'm trying to figure out why you got a fully on and you're wearing long sleeves. Hey, more respect to you.
But he's styling. He's got the orange sunglasses.
Yeah.
I'm trying to promote. I'm trying to selflessly promote right here. No, I do want to say though,
deal coming up, but
yeah. Well, I did the windows to make sure y'all could see my beard. Otherwise, I look like I'm sleeping in a cave, which isn't far off. But
well, Tim, the beard is immaculate, dude. So keep it going. Love listening to you on the games and the pre and the post and the whole deal with the Brew Crew. Good to see you virtually. We'll see you in person hopefully soon. Playoff time for the Brew Crew, okay?
Let's go.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. And hey, whoever dropped out so that I could be a part of this, whatever big name it was, I just want to say thanks.
His name was Dim.
Means a lot. I want to send him an edible arrangement, maybe, saying thank you so I could be on here. So.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. Dim Dillard said no, so we got number 2. Good talking to you, Tim.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tim.
Appreciate you, and definitely give Tim a follow too. He's awesome and hilarious at Dim Dillard on Twitter. And we'll swing back on Stadium and pop off. Jared Kelenic went down with a weird injury. We'll talk a little more Trout too when we swing back on Stadium.
Which one's more disappointing? I mean, I did the Mets game last week, and they played the Dodgers, and they looked awful. They looked lifeless. They had, like, no hits, and it was just awful. The fans were all over them. Buck, we kept showing Buck, and Buck's like, oh, God, again. You know, which one's more disappointing? The Yankees, the Mets, they both came in with huge expectations, huge payrolls, and they're both not very good right now.
The Yankees.
Really?
All things considered, this isn't one of the worst seasons for the Mets fan base. Like, it's disappointing when you win 101 games, you have the highest payroll in baseball history, and you do this. But right now, they're like, okay, we're 7 games back. Maybe we make a run. But, like, it's not as disappointing as the Yankees, who preach 27-time World Series champions, bringing a parade back to New York. Brian Cashman scratches his head in the offseason and says, how far did we get? Oh, well, if you let the fans tell it, like, you know, getting to the ALCS doesn't mean anything. Well, it doesn't mean anything if you're going to take 2 steps back and go from competing for the World Series to competing for a wild card. So even though the Mets fans are disappointed because this Steve Cohen era, right, he said he's putting a 5-year window on winning a World Series. This is year 3, and it doesn't look like they're going to win a World Series. These are Mets fans. They've been through a lot worse. Yankee fans have been through a ton of World Series. The expectation in New York with a generational talent like Aaron Judge, with arguably one of the best pitchers in baseball in Garrett Cole, the expectation is that we're in a championship window, and this team should be competing for the division and then for the AL and then for the whole thing. So it's disappointing, even though they're 3 games above 500, you know, being 3 games out of the wild card spot, Yankee fans are ready to pack it up. Mets fans, they packed it up in June when they didn't win a series, and they kind of are looking at it like, if we figure it out, we figure it out. But typical Mets.
Man, he's harsh.
No, it's New York, baby. It's just New York. You know?
Yeah, and no, the expectation should be high because these teams,
100%, yes.
These teams are spending. They're going for it.
I just love how he's like, yeah, the Mets fans packed it up in June. They were like, we're done.
Yeah, they went through a nightmare month. They couldn't win a series. They got swept by the Braves, and they were done.
And now back to foul territory.
Back on Stadium, it's FT Live, Brock Star, Toddfather. I don't have as cool of a nickname. I'm just Scott. But the poll results for who is most likely to get traded at the deadline out of the options that we gave you show Marcus Stroman leading the pack, then Lucas Giolito. I see a confused face a little bit from Brock. Are you confused, Brock?
Well, Marcus Stroman was my top pick, so he was up there on the list, but he wasn't number 1. I'm saying that's an easy Lucas Giolito
Hell yeah.
is gone.
Lucas
Don't know
Giolito's a
where
lock.
to.
This was like a pop quiz where I felt like there's a legit right answer. It's
Yeah.
Lucas Giolito. He's a free agent after this year on a non-contending
Yeah.
team. I think maybe Brock, some fans are like, well, so are the Cubs. Like Stroman's technically going to opt out, and the Cubs, in some people's minds, are not contending anymore, this year. So, okay. But I still think Giolito, if you have one answer to make, it's him, no?
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
Just making sure
we're
I'm not
going
crazy
by
here.
big names here. We're going to buy, the smartest pick right now, and the one that's definitely most likely going to go.
Yeah.
90%.
He's going to go. Okay. It is time to pop off. Presented by Cookie Pop.
Let the emotions get the best of me there. I just feel terrible. Especially for the guys. I let the emotions get the best of me, and I let them down. And take full responsibility for it. It's on me. It's just can't.
Jared, how tough is it? I mean, you talked this spring about how much you'd worked on controlling your emotions and kind of letting stuff slide, but the frustration of the season does build. Like, how tough is that?
Yeah, we came up last night with the game on the line. 2 guys on against arguably the best closer in baseball. And I was just put together a good at bat. Was just grinding, And unfortunately, it couldn't come through. And like I said,
All right, so I think this is really important for a show like this, Brockstar, to take me inside what's going on with Jared Kelenic. Not just him. Clearly, we know how he feels. He feels like shit. I mean, he's crying during the interview, okay? But now, take me inside a clubhouse, how a team's feeling, because fans are pissed, right? If you're a Mariners fan, you're like, dude, you kicked a water cooler and broke your foot. I get it. You get pissed off about stuff, but we got a season on the line here, and you're one of our better hitters. So tell me how the players react for the Mariners. Do they feel bad for him? But they're also like, dude, what the hell? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, this is a hard one. I'm surprised I never broke anything when I was playing, based off of we all want to go out and succeed, right? That's just part of who we are. We're not trying to go out and make outs. We're trying to we want to get a hit every time, but obviously in baseball we're not going to do that. I know for a fact though that Jared Kelenic he's learned from this situation based off of that interview and his emotions. But as a teammate, you want guys to care. You just have to be smart, man. You see stuff like this and it sucks. It sucks for a team. It sucks for for everyone. It's not just for Jared. You gotta know that you are part of something bigger than just yourself. And they're going to be without him in the lineup now for however long. So it's just one of those things where you got to learn when to and how to. And, I think his teammates, they're going to support him, obviously, but you just got to be smarter in that situation and know that, there's bigger things out there than me getting my frustration out. And there's different ways that you can do it.
Yeah, I have a couple things to this. Excuse me, but for me, Scott Braun, a Hall of Famer coming up, always said, hey, after you drop the first F-bomb when you're pissed, everything else after that's fake. And if you think about it, it's really true. You're like, fuck, let's go, wake up, figure it out. And then everything after that, you let your frustrations out. It's better to talk it out. I was always a yeller. I would scream going behind the dugout. I would yell as much as I can. And that was my frustration. I got out of it. But he was right. Anything after that is just kind of baloney because you already got it out. I remember in Milwaukee, they had a punching bag. I used to hit that thing all the time, man. But they always used to say, hey, Frazier, open hand, open hand. it's silly to even talk about this, but this is the stuff that baseball players go through. So you're hitting it without, you don't want to hit it with your front fist because I've seen guys break their hands. I slammed a bat one time and I didn't know at the time it was a broken bat, came up, sliced my hand. I'm like, oh shoot, I can't believe what I just did. I was in more shock. I was struggling. Wrapped it up. I was good. I played for about 2 weeks with a wrap on my hand. Everybody said, what happened? I'm like, oh, I kind of strained my hand. I just need it there. But pretty much a piece of skin was off my hand. And I'm like, and then you look yourself in the mirror, you're like, what the hell am I doing, dude? It's just one at bat. I don't care. It's not that serious, and it takes some time to figure out. And they said he's been working on it, but the frustrations got the best of him. But yeah, there's just different scenarios where you just got to figure it out. If I'm a teammate, I'm like, dude, what are you doing, man? Come on. You feel bad, but at the same time, you're like, man, if this is reoccurring, man, we got a big issue.
If you're the senior member on that team, what do you say to Kelenic?
I said, bud, you just got to make better decisions. I don't know.
You'd go over to him, though?
Yeah, I would say, hey, listen, I know you're upset. I wouldn't bash him. I wouldn't be like, yo, dude, what are you doing? Because I've been there before. Brock's been there before.
Yeah.
Everybody has. But, it's one at bat, man. Don't take one at bat. If you think about it in the long term, you're going to fail more than you succeed. So you're going to get that same scenario. You're going to strike out again, or you're going to pop up, or you're going to fail. And you know what? How are you going to react? Well, that's about it.
And the Mariners aren't hitting, and this is one of the few guys that was hitting more consistently for them, so it sucks. All right, visit cookiepopcandypop.com and enter code FOULBALL for 20% off these bad boys. cookiepopcandypop.com, enter the code FOULBALL for 20% off. There it is. And before we step aside for a second poll question of the day. Back to our NL Central conversation. Either scan the QR code or watchstadium.com/foul territory. I'm about to vote during the break. Who's going to win the NL Central? Brewers, Reds, or the field? You think someone's going to come out of the blue suddenly? I know someone in the chat's been like, watch out for St. Louis. I'm like, they got a ways to go, and they're selling. But, hey.
This team clearly needs another starter. I want to be clear that I'm not saying that they don't need to do anything else. They should. But this is also an organization that has operated a certain way for the last few years, and now it has the opportunity. This roster has exceeded expectations the last 2 years, and the front office definitely has the opportunity to do the same.
But here's my thing. The players dictate what schedule you're on. The players are ahead of schedule, so therefore the fans want to win. You can go into every season and say, we might not be any good, but then all of a sudden, boom, you're pretty good.
Happened to the Cubs. They were good a little quicker than they thought.
Yeah.
Pirates were good and missed their boat. They didn't do shit.
Which is the good
a while back.
Which is a good problem to have if you're an organization. And so you would think, I want to capitalize this because the Orioles have a chance to be good for years to come, right? So maybe it's not maybe we're looking at this wrong.
No,
maybe there's a guy with multiple years of control, a pitcher, and I don't know who that pitcher would be, obviously, but that has 2 years left, let's say, and you cover him for 2 years. But again, prospects, Nathan, are only prospects until they become big leaguers, and then they're suspects. Other than that, if a player, you're like, see ya, dude. So let's ask you, who would be an ideal pickup for this team?
Yeah, I think a Dylan Cease type, a Lucas Giolito, maybe Jordan Hicks in St. Louis to get another bullpen arm in there, and just the velocity they would have in the back end would be really exciting. But I do think, in an ideal world, they go out and get a number one starter, someone who does have a little bit of control, maybe like a Dylan Cease. Again, I don't know what they're willing to part with in terms of prospects because they've never been in this situation before. Like you said, they have a lot of guys, especially a lot of infielders. And so the opportunity is there to move some of these guys. But I also think their organizational philosophy is that, until proven differently, that 6 years of a cost-controlled young player is going to be more valuable than 2 playoff runs with a given player who's already in their prime. And so is that the way they should be operating? Probably not. But this is the first time they've been in that situation. And so until they go out and do something different, I thought this offseason they were going to make some big moves. I thought they were going to get a top of the rotation starter. I thought they were going to trade some of these guys then to add to the lineup, add to the rotation, add to the bullpen. And they didn't do it.
And now back to foul territory.
Boom. There it is. There's an MLB free game of the day streaming on the BetMGM app. Live streaming is available to all BetMGM customers who are logged in and have funded accounts, game of the day is Blue Jays Mariners, rematch of the playoffs last year. Mariners are in the postseason right now because they gotta put some dubs together and get back in the wild card race. Blue Jays, I think, are in a pretty decent spot. I've liked the Blue Jays this year, and it's Kikuchi against Miller. I'd say a little edge to Miller in that one, but check it out. And let's run our locks right now. Our BetMGM locks for Friday. First, a quick look back at a proper sweep by AJ and myself, hosting as the duo yesterday, picking on the same game but two different spots. He got his Ks. George Kirby had a career high, tying 10 Ks, shutting down the Twins, and he shut them out. I mean, he didn't pitch the whole game, but he shut them out in his work. I think it was 6 or 7 innings. They won 5-0. So let's do our BetMGM locks for Friday. And Brockstar, we got to get you. We got to get you back on the winning side of things because your boys.
We talk about it every time.
We talk back about hurts right now, dude. I want you to lay down like a little. Can I entice you to lay down a little more so we can get you in the plus?
Well, yeah, that's what I talked about before the show. But okay. I will tell you that my last bet, I bet the Yankees to win. Here's my thought process with that. Like, you bet the Yankees to win. They win, I win. But if they lose, technically I still win. So I did win. I didn't win money last time, but I did win because the Yankees lost.
That's an emo hedge. That's called an emotional hedge, Brock. So you know what that is?
But no, I don't.
It means you either win money or the team that you don't like loses. And you still feel good about yourself.
And you still feel
emo
good about
hedges are cool. Anyway, yes.
Yep,
go ahead.
So that's that. So yeah, I'm putting down more money today on the Braves at 240. I'm putting 240 to get back into the green. Braves minus 120 to beat the Brewers. Sorry, Dim Dillard for that pick, but I'm taking the Braves money line at minus 120 versus the Brew Crew.
Okay.
Listen, I'm still mad about the last time I was on the show.
Why?
Because I had a parlay and it was like minus 2.5 on 2 teams, and the one game got rained out, and I hit the one, and I was feeling froggy too, man. It was going to be a big one. So
you got to check the weather, dude.
Weather-wise, it's such a cuckoo day. And now I'm going to go big again. I'm going to go a monster parlay here. 3 teams: Yankees, San Fran Giants, and Atlanta Braves, all to win by 1.5, by 2 runs.
Yep.
At plus 840.
Woo!
So I'm going to take a chance here. I'm going to go 100 to win 840. Let's go. I should have won the last one. Luck is on my side today.
Okay. I like it. I'm going to tell that.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe in you. I'll keep it simple, and I'm looking just for like a
quick hitter,
a quick rush, right? And we'll go over some other Nerfy picks on the other side in hour number 2.
Right now. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, just like give me one hand, okay? White Sox, Twins. I'm going with the Nerfy at minus 120. Lance Lynn's been pretty solid in his first innings lately. He's given up just a run one time in his last 6 starts in the first inning and against some good opponents. And then Joe Ryan's really good at home. So I'll bang that at minus 120. We'll see what happens. Those are our locks. And it is Nerfy Friday. But the way to get this done, insurance on your no-run first inning bet up to $50 is that you place a no-run first inning bet, a Nerfy, on any MLB game. You got to opt into the promotion and say no on will there be a run in the first inning, okay? If you do that and your bet loses, but only 1 run is scored during that first inning, you receive a bonus bet back equaling your stake up to $25. Bonus bets will be reflected once the wager's settled. It's only available on Nerfy Fridays, and please make sure to read full terms and conditions of the promotion before participating. Always bet responsibly. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLING. Do we have time for Nerfies, or we're doing it on the other side? Where are we at? Oh, cool.
Yeah,
we have time.
All
right, so let's do our Nerfy picks. Who's got a Nerfy or a Yerfy?
I'll go first. My
Yes.
Nerfy pick is the Mets. I had some help here on this one, Claudia. We were talking about it before we started. I was thinking going one way or another. The Mets are 29th in MLB in scoring first, so that's in the first inning, I should say. So that's not good for them. So
that is not good.
I'm going to stick with the Mets. I know we've talked about that before. So no runs first inning for the Mets. And they are are they in Boston, or am I off there?
Yeah, they're going up against Cutter Crawford.
Yeah, 0 there. So that, if you want a quick hit there, I would say go with that game. No runs in the first inning.
And it's plus 100, which
So-
is pretty good odds usually
Yeah,
for
not
you.
bad.
Yeah, they're up in Boston. Cutter Crawford's been pretty good looking
Yeah.
at his first inning numbers, and Senga's really good in the first inning.
No doubt.
He in his last 11 starts, he's given up a run in the first and two of them.
Okay.
So
Let's do
9
it.
times he's scoreless in the first. I mean, he's got great stuff. He made it to the All-Star game. They didn't pitch him.
Yeah.
You got to watch the workload with him coming over here,
Sure.
right? Usually in Japan, it's more of like the once a week status. So you got to watch him on extra rest. I think they've been taking pretty good care of him. So I'm with you. I'll hit that with you. Brock?
Yeah, I mean, I think these Nerfy picks are flip the coin, right? But I did look at the games, and Scott, I jump on your back on this one. I would have picked White Sox Twins with
Nice.
with Lynn and Ryan going. That's the one that I kind of gravitated to. I don't know why I gravitated to it. I don't have a reason.
I know
but-
why.
Because it's going to win.
No, because I'm convincing, right? You
Well, yeah,
bought
but-
what I was selling in the lot.
yeah. I mean, yeah. You made me feel better about my decision. But prior to the show, I was looking at the games, and that's the one that I would have picked. But yeah, your reasoning really locked it in for me.
Thank you. Poll results, by the way, before we say goodbye on Stadium, and a reminder, too, that Mookie Betts and Tyler Glasnow are going to join us in hour number 2. Who's winning the NL Central? The Reds winning the poll by a very solid margin. Then come the Brewers, and then obviously the field's basically a nothing. So the Reds, really tight division race right now with Milwaukee and Cincinnati. So for everyone watching on Stadium, we will see you on Monday. If you're watching on Stadium YouTube, either it'll turn right into your Foul Territory YouTube channel, or you can flip over there if it doesn't do that for you. We'll take questions from fans for Mookie Betts and Tyler Glasnow. We have plenty to ask them as well. That's coming up in hour number 2 on Foul Territory with all of us. Looking forward to it.
Let's go.
Those are
baby.
2 big Friday
Yeah,
guests,
I can't
baby.
wait. This is gonna be fun.
And both of them are tell it like it is people.
And
Fair?
Yeah.
Fair.
You
fair
know,
to say.
we've mixed in some.
in a fun way too.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm saying, like, you feel like you're having a real conversation, right?
Like you're at a bar. Can't wait.
Exactly. And that's what this show's all about. Happy Friday, people. We'll see you on hour 2.
Gotta let go so I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Brock, this is why you're missing out, just chilling in Tennessee. Toddfather sometimes, like, ripping it on the dance floor.
I'm the same way, man. Like, this music just gets me going.
It hits you the right
And
way,
I'm,
baby. It
and
hits
I'm
you
trying
the
to
right way.
loosen this back up too.
Yeah,
I gotta
man,
I gotta get a better chair, man. I gotta get a better setup over here.
You need to take your sweatshirt off and stay a while.
No, listen, man. I'm telling you, it's cold in the basement. It's cold down here, man.
Why,
I
you
fr- I
blasting the
freeze.
AC there in
Look at
Tennessee?
this. Hold on. Check this out. Look what I got on my feet.
Oh yeah. Oh man. No. I can.
Yeah,
whoa,
dude.
whoa,
What?
put
Yeah,
those
we're on
down.
the
Yeah,
airplane. Come
yeah,
on, you
yeah.
can't do that.
Hey,
Part
hey,
of foul.
man. Hey, these don't smell that bad.
Nah, I'm kidding. All right,
Oh,
so for everyone that's just joining us here in hour number 2 after our run on Stadium for an hour. Mookie Betts is going to join us soon, and Tyler Glasnow after that. So pretty solid for a Friday. And I want to start off with Reddit on Friday. We haven't gotten any Reddit topics in a bit, so it's a good one on the Reddit baseball page, which is massive. Someone threw out there, who is the Mr. Blank for your team? Example, Ernie Banks is Mr. Cub. And then one of the comments here was, discussing this with my dad. For example, Ernie Banks is Mr. Cub. The toughest ones we thought were Mr. Rockies, Mr. Seattle, and couldn't think of a good Mr. Phillies. I kind of lost my shit on Mr. Phillies. I'm like, that's one of the easiest ones. If for the youngsters, for the modern times, because right, it depends what time period you're paying attention. Right now, it's Bryce Harper.
Sure.
Easy, no?
Yeah.
You would think so.
I'm like, dude, are you watching the game? And then back in the day, I mean, Mike Schmidt.
True.
Pretty big deal. Position player. Easily, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
Okay, good. So we helped solve the world's problems for this one guy
Philly
on Reddit. You guys have any misters on teams that stand out to you, or do you want to help him with his other two?
I got two that I just thought of.
Okay.
I'm going to go with, so the nickname for Mr. Red is Eric Davis. That's a true fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's known all through Cincinnati. Now, Mr. Red right now is my man, Ellie De La Cruz. So I know he's only had 150 at-bats, but that's Mr. Red right now. If we're going strong right now, could be Joey Votto since he's been there for so long, but I'm going with the guy that's taken off and going to lead this team for the next some odd years. And then we go Mr. Yankee. I was thinking back in the day, that's got to be a Babe Ruth or Mickey Mantle or something like that. And right now, that's definitely Miss Aaron Judge. So for me, those are two simple ones, but Mr. Red is Eric Davis. That's his nickname, like Mr. Cub is Ernie Banks. So.
Can I sell you on, at least for a 20-year generation, Derek Jeter being Mr. Yankee?
You can.
That's who I would pick, probably.
You can.
I would say.
Yeah, I could see it, but I'm more. I don't know.
You're thinking
that's a tough one. I'm going back in the day.
Yeah, you want to go back to the classics?
No, but I would say Jeter would be an easy pick too as well.
Yeah, for that time period. Because that's the thing. I mean, some people that are on here, if you're going on the way back time machine, some people, I mean, everyone knows who Babe Ruth is, but I'm saying, like, maybe some younger Philly fans are like, who's Mike Schmidt? I don't know.
No, yeah. And then if I'm trying to help for Seattle, I thought that was a real simple one, easy too.
Who you got?
So it'd be Mr. Seattle, would be Ken Griffey.
Yep.
And then Julio Rodriguez is Mr. Mariner now. That would be a simple one for me.
I'm with you.
I mean, you could go Edgar Martinez.
Alvin said the original Mr. Mariner was Edgar, but probably surpassed by being a Hall of Famer who only ever played for the M's.
Yeah, I mean.
See, that's not in my rule book. Like, I don't think most people you tell me. I mean, you're the Cincinnati guy. I think most people are like, Griffey's a Mariner. I don't really think too much of the Reds days. Yeah. So I don't punish him because he played for another team.
No, I would say he's more of a Mariner than he is a Red.
Way more.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
It's where he first came up. That's where he dominated. So
who's Mr. Boston?
Oh, man. Mr. Boston, I would say you'd have to say Big Papi, right? I think for me, it's always going to be
Ted?
Dustin. I think it's always going to be Dustin Pedroia for me. He's my all-time favorite teammate, person, everything. Just the way he went about his business. But I think a lot of people would say, you could put Pedro Martinez in there, David Ortiz, like you said, Ted Williams, Carl Yastrzemski. I mean, there's a lot. And then right now, Devers, I guess, right?
Yeah, I would have to say, yeah.
He's the only dude they want to keep. So it's got to be Devers.
Yeah.
By subtraction of everyone else. I mean, we'll have Mookie at some point, and they let Bogarts go. So the only dude they've kept out of the current crop of homegrown talent is Devers.
Tough.
What about, let's help this guy with the Rockies.
Rockies come. I think it's Todd Helton or Larry Walker. Those are the two guys.
Those are my two.
Yeah, those are the two guys that come to mind whenever I think of the Rockies. And those are really the only two players that I know that played for the Rockies. So
stop. You know.
Hey, I think Andres Galarraga, man.
Yeah, that too. Andres Galarraga. Yeah.
Some of the balls he hit. What was his nickname?
Big Cat.
Big Cat.
Yeah.
Cactus. What was it?
Big Cat.
Oh, Big Cat.
Cat.
I don't know why Cactus.
But my thing is, when I was trying to pick, so for Mr. Rocky, for example, you have Larry Walker, Hall of Famer.
True.
But he didn't spend all his time with the Rocks. To me, it's Todd Helton.
Yeah,
Even though he hasn't made it and he might not make it, I think it's Todd Helton's Mr. Rocky. He went through the good.
Couldn't tell you.
I
who
mean,
Mr.
not that
Rocky
much
is
good,
right
but a lot
now,
of
though.
bad. Right now,
I mean, I don't know.
oof.
The young man.
It's
that
not
hit, that
Chris
hit the
Bryant,
one-
even though he's the big
the
money
young man that hit the home run in the All-Star game to win it.
Diaz.
Yep.
That might
Yep.
be Mr. Rocky right
But
All-Star MVP.
ooh, sounds good.
now. All right, I like it.
Good
All
luck
right.
on that one.
Good. Yeah, good luck. I will say it's probably the team we talk about the least on this show right now is the Rockies. It's just if you're a rebuilder, I still think you can be relevant if you're selling me on a plan. I just don't really understand what's going on there right now. So just throwing that. I mean, that's a topic for another day.
Throw it out there.
Let's play a game here called GM for a day.
You love this game.
Yes. Well, it's trade deadline season. So, and one of the teams that's been a disappointment is just a fascinating ball club to watch in these next couple weeks to see what's going on. So let's cue up the tweet from Dennis Lynn of The Athletic talking about Blake Snell. And he said one of the most obvious trade candidates, 7 walks, but limited the damage to 1 run. And generally, Snell's been one of the best pitchers in the league this year. He was an all-star snub. He kind of picked it up, especially like in the second half of the first half, if that makes sense. But he said 46 and 51. Snell said after the game, I think we're buying. The Padres, in my mind, are fascinating because, you know, we've talked so much about the Cardinals, Padres, and Mets as being disappointing ball clubs this year, given the talent and what they've spent, especially the Mets and Pods. I don't know if the Padres are going to sell, though.
I don't either. And I think Snell's just putting that out there. I don't think he has any clout or anything about what really is going on.
You mean he's not the GM?
No, he's not. But I'm laughing. It's 7 walks and he's only given up 1. He's done that. I'm not saying 7 walks, but I've seen a couple of his starts where he's given up a lot of walks and still hasn't given up any runs.
Yeah.
So that's how filthy he is. Remember, I played against him. He had one of the nastiest curveballs, and his fastball was just lights out. Just kind of has a rise action to it. But yeah, if they are selling, he's a dude that I'd be looking for 100%. He's still a filthy pitcher. He's still going to be good for a couple more years for sure.
Hell yeah. And he's free agent coming up this year. It's good free agent season for him. Hey, it's time for Charlotte's Web Player Access, sponsored by Recreate. Let's bring in our next guest on FT Live. Also a star with the mic, but more so on the field and in pretty much everything he does. Mookie Betts joining us right now. Brock, can you intro your boy, Brock?
Listen, man, I almost wore sunglasses to this interview because I knew he'd be wearing sunglasses. It's so short.
It's hot.
Always got sunglasses on, man. The sun's good for your eyes, man.
We in Texas, man. It's bright.
It's hot as hell in Texas.
It's hot out here, bro.
What is it, like 120?
It's not as bad as yesterday. Yesterday was probably 115. You'd walk outside and it was immediate sweating. Today is walk outside and I give you a couple minutes and then it's sweating. So
I'm gonna call them and tell them to open the roof for you tonight.
That roof closed. We need a roof closed. How you guys doing?
Man.
What's up, Mookie? How you been, man?
Man, I've been all right, man. How you been?
I'm doing good, man. Enjoying this retired life, just coaching my kids and stuff, man. It's worse than playing, dude. I'm telling you right now, dude.
Is it really?
Oh, man. Nerve-wracking, yelling. My voice is gone for about 2 weeks. It's nuts, dude.
Hey, Mook's not going to know what that feels like. He's still got about 12 more years on his side.
I thought for sure waking up and not having to worry about who you're facing today and the bullpen and 100-mile-an-hour sinkers and all that stuff would be better than, waking up.
No, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. You're right. You're 100% right. But I want to talk about the home run derby, man. Talk to me. Explain to me the new format, dude. It looked like everybody was absolutely drained, dude. Talk to me. What you think
gotta
about?
Show them what you got.
Well, yeah. This is my puppy right here.
I know. That was the home run derby was probably the worst idea I've had in a long time. I'm just not built that way. I'm not built that way. I know how to hit line drives, and occasionally they go over the fence. But it was fun though. The format and stuff was cool. I like the 10 outs. I think the 10 outs, you'll get more guys to do it. Maybe I have a chance with 10 outs. But the 3 minutes thing of just straight swinging, it is what it is. I'm just not built that way. It's for the big boys. It's for the big boys for sure.
Yeah, Mook, I knew you were in trouble, bro. That your first swing, I was like, damn, Mook. Hey, Mook just took one out. His first swing, you barreled it up, you hit it good, and then they caught it at the warning track. I'm like, oh boy. I said this is gonna be a long 3 minutes for Mook. You didn't even use your timeout, man.
No, so that was, I got asked about that, and my theory was the third swing in, I knew I had no chance, and so after that, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep going. If I get tired, then I may debate taking the timeout. JD was actually yelling behind me, telling me to take the timeout. And I was just trying to save everybody the misery. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want all the pity party and all that stuff. So I was just like, you know what? Let's just get it over
with. When you did it, when you won, Todd, was it not the timer?
No,
right?
It was the timer.
It was the timer still?
Yeah.
That was the first year, wasn't it?
You had to wait until the ball landed. I didn't like it. I was watching on TV. I want to see where the ball lands, bro. And we might have saw a handful. That was my biggest problem with it. I want to see how far guys were hitting the balls, and you couldn't see it. It's like, boom, boom. Well, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all, man.
There was one point I thought was very cool. Randy had hit a ball, a high homer, and by the time that ball landed, he had took 2 more swings.
That's insane.
And that's neat that he can do that. But to your point, yeah, you don't get to really watch the balls because they were just swinging really quick.
Yeah, and I would tell the MLB or whoever's doing it, I'd say, listen, I like the 10 outs, but I would put a time limit on that. I'd be like, hey, listen, you got 4 or 5 minutes to finish this 10 outs. I think that would be a great thing to do as well, knowing that, some guys, they dust their face off. They're like, time, they step out.
Or take 10 pitches
or
Muncie
take 10
or
pitches,
something.
You know what I mean? I think that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm not. Y'all do what y'all got to do.
You're done. Huh?
Which I'm pissed about because I asked Mook whenever he said he would do it. I asked Mook if I could throw to him, and he had already had a guy, and he goes, dude, if I ever do it again, you can throw it to me. But he ain't. No, you ain't doing it again, dude. Not after that performance.
No, yeah, I agree. I agree. I think I ruined it for everyone. Especially for people my size. If my son wants me to, I'll probably give him a strong case for a no. But I'm convincible. I'm convincible from him though.
That's what Trout said, remember?
Oh yeah.
Trout said the same thing because we're trying to get him. He hasn't done it yet, and we were like, Todd was like, how are you going to get involved? And he was like, if my son asks me, I'll do it.
So I told my Texas wife to get his son to say something here, but
exactly.
We'll see how that goes.
Exactly. Hey, Mookie, are you having fun hosting your own show this year for the first time?
Yeah.
You got On Base. Tell me about it and who you talking to, and are you getting guys to open up? I mean, we're doing some of that here, obviously, every day too, but you've gotten some superstars on there, and I think the sport needs more of this. Like, let's talk it out. We've got some of the best personalities in the world.
Yeah, it's been awesome, man. Doing the podcast has been awesome because to your point, people don't really know baseball players. We don't get the cameras when we walk in with the showing our clothes, and we don't get just the access behind because we're at the field, 10 hours, and we're actually doing the opposite. We're running away from cameras, as the guys know when the media comes in, we're getting out of there just because we don't want, we don't really want to do a whole lot of talking. And so being behind the camera with the guys, I feel like they kind of let their hair down a little bit. You get to kind of know them, see what makes them tick, and I think that's a huge part that fans need to see because the same way these guys go into investment firms or whatever, right? Walmart, name your job, whatever drives you is the same thing that drives us, and so I think it's neat to draw comparisons and, sometimes you get some info from people that you never would know. And I think it's neat. And so, this thing it's been awesome. I've absolutely loved it.
You bring up a good point. We've seen you in GQ magazine. We've seen you do some things. You're great with the clothing, opposite what I am. My wife still helps me out what I need to do. But how can we get baseball like more in tune from like the NBA and NFL. They watch the guys walk in with the clothing, with all that stuff. And how can we get that driven a little more? I know we play a lot more games and we get seen a lot more, but at the same time, baseball needs those stars to come out a little bit more, and we need to get that going a little bit because it's such a fascinating sport behind the scenes.
Yeah, it is, man. Like, yeah, a lot of personalities. I think just guys got to be open to it. Baseball has had this, since I've been here, this thing where, you just kind of play the game and you go home, do your family thing, and everything's off of a camera, because we're behind a camera or playing in front of a camera for, every day pretty much of the season. And so I think guys just got to open up more, be more open to showing their lives, showing their personalities and whatnot. I think, the game will humble you for sure. But also I think there's a space to show your personality and show who you are and show what you're about, show the things that you want to do. Because baseball is hard, but also you don't want to wait until the end and then try to establish a life. I'm trying to do a little bit of both at the same time, and I feel like I can work and play baseball at the same time. It's very hard to do, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, Mook. I mean, you're the perfect guy for it, right? Like you like to have fun. I mean, me and you. Well, I mean, you're one. I said Dustin Pedroia is my all-time favorite teammate, but you're 1B right behind him, right? Because we had fun, dude. Like,
yes,
and I think you're the perfect guy. I mean, I think you do way too much stuff. I think you need to take a chill pill every now and then and just relax. Just relax, dude. This guy's all over the place, man. Like you can't get a hold of him or nothing. But no, I think for you doing that show, I think it's easier for guys to open up when they're talking to another player, another superstar like yourself. Who, I mean, you do the show, you have your YouTube. I mean, you're like I said, man, you do it all. And I think what you're doing for the game in your position, obviously I wanted to see you end your career in Boston, but there couldn't have been a better place for you to land than LA because you are so Hollywood, bro.
Thank you, bro. No, I think at that point, Brock, like, if I stayed in Boston, I don't know that I would have started and been who I am today.
Yeah.
Boston is just a different culture, a different life there than it is in LA, and different opportunities. And so, being in LA, the move to LA has probably been, even though I wasn't really ready for it, and I know people don't believe it, but I wanted to stay in Boston my whole career. Like that's where I grew up. That's my life. Like I know everybody there. It was a short flight to Nashville. Like everything, it was perfect. And the move.
All right, so real quick, let me cut you off real quick. So if Red Sox offered you 10 for 365, what do you say?
Right now?
Well, no, not right now. Back then.
Time? It was 100%. 100%.
Okay.
100,
yeah.
But that didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Yeah, no. I think people don't realize that,
Yeah, I think, but it is what it is, and when that move happened and I was sad and I was like, man, I don't want to go out west, the traffic, I ain't trying to go out there and this, that, and the other. But, it was actually kind of a blessing in disguise. My family loves it. A different way of life. The weather is beautiful. You never have to worry about the hot, sticky stuff or, freezing cold and everything up in Boston. But, so being in LA has been awesome, man. Really.
Hey, Mookie, so right now, I think someone that is going through a similar situation is Juan Soto. So he's with DC. Some of us thought he'd be there for life, right? He gets a big offer, turns it down, and then they're like, all right, we're in rebuild mode. So they trade him away. I mean, even though you didn't turn down the number that Brock just threw at you, you turned down, I think it was like in the 200 range. How crazy is it after that to play and not think about what you turned down? And obviously it worked out really well for you. But you know what I'm saying? Some guys, it's probably hard to shake where you're like, damn, what was that number? All right, I got to hit 99 tonight.
Yeah. No, it was really hard, but also really easy. Really hard because I seen the paper that they sent over with the numbers on it, and looking at that and seeing, okay, this is I'm good the rest of my life. That actually saying no to that was really, really hard. But then when you take a step back and, my agents are amazing. My family's amazing, and we had this plan this whole time. You know, we're gonna stick to it. We're gonna stick to it. The hardest part is gonna be to say no. The hardest part is gonna be to say no. And once I was able to learn to say no, it made it. Like I said, it was still hard, but easy because I've already said no to this a couple times, and I'm gonna kind of bet on myself a little bit. You know, if I want to maximize what for me, then I have to be able to say no. And sometimes you have to be willing to. If you don't play well, that's the chance. That's the chance you took. You know. And, but I had awesome guys like Brock and Petey and all those guys around me that made it easy for me just to play the game. You know, we were having fun, and it was easy to go play. The Wands one, but it made it a little bit different. Washington, where you weren't really winning. You're really just playing for numbers. But with Brock and these guys, we were playing a little bit.
I think it broke up a little at the end. Did you hear?
Yeah,
I did. Sorry, guys. So,
no, you're good.
I got Sprint. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Hey, you didn't pay for Wi-Fi there at the hotel or what?
No, I never do. I just, I just thug it out.
No, it's better now.
To go along with what you're saying, like obviously, like I thought you were an idiot for turning down that type of money. 'Cause I was never going to see that type of money, right? But like, I mean, we all knew how special of a player you were, and you know, us as a group were just rooting for you in general. But dude, you bet on yourself, and it was a damn good bet, right? Like we throw out bets on this show all the time, and hell, dude, I couldn't be more proud of you, man. And I think you know that. And like I said, man, you've been one of my favorite teammates, one of my favorite friends that I've had in this game. And you know, I'm happy for you, bro. And I love that you love it in LA, and that your family loves it, and it's fun to watch, man.
Yeah, man. I still have my Brock stories. I've still told my Brock stories. I still do. The legend of Brock Holt will never die in Mookie Betts' heart.
Yeah. Right, you got to give us one then. What's your best one that gets like the best response?
I think the main story. There's been too many stories, really, too many funny ones. But the main one was in Oakland, and Brock knows exactly what I'm talking about. He had went. Who were you facing?
Fernando Rodney.
And Frazier, Fernando Rodney got his changeup. and Brock, was it 3 pitches?
I don't know what it was. I know. I think it was a 3-2 count. I think it was a 3-2 count.
3-2 count. So 3-2 count, and he throws a changeup, and this was probably the absolute worst swing I've ever seen Brock take. Like,
you've seen bench warmers, right? You've seen bench warmers. The guy swings like this, straight down.
I think I remember this one.
Yeah, so that was my swing.
And Brock was mad. He was genuinely pissed that he did that. And as soon as he walked, it's a long walk back into the dugout.
Oh, yeah.
And he walked back, and as soon as he took one step down into the dugout, instantly I busted out laughing. I couldn't hold it in. And I mean, he would take pulling up the video. Brock, you got to show the boys.
Honestly, whenever I knew you were coming on the show, I tried to find it. I couldn't find it anywhere, but
man, I had tears in my eyes in the middle of that. Tears in my eyes. I mean, it was that was probably one of the funniest moments within a serious game that I've.
And that was in 19 when we started like 2-11. To start. So we were playing bad. Like Griff had scratched my eye and I couldn't see anything, and I was trying to play. Mookie's laughing his ass off whenever I'm coming back to the dugout, and I was pissed at first. But that was a good thing about having Mook on the team. Like we joked all the time about, we didn't take things too serious, and I don't know. I think we ended up losing that game, but we ended up going up in the clubhouse and having our video guy pull up the swing for us, so we could sit around and laugh about it. But
man, that's amazing. So,
Mookie, do you still do that? Will you laugh at a dude on the Dodgers if he comes back to the dugout and you were like, yo, they just like, it was like a sword kind of situation, like pitching ninja's going to be all over you?
No, I don't have anybody that I would laugh at like that now. That shows the relationship that me and Brock and that had for sure. Like to be, because it was I didn't let him cool off or anything. It was just instant laugh. Like it was instant laugh. I remember Brock got mad at me a couple times for laughing. He's like, "Mook, stop laughing at me." And I was like, "I can't help it."
There was one time I didn't even let him laugh. I walked into the dugout. I knew he was going to be laughing. I said, "Mook, don't even fucking laugh, dude." Like, I don't want to hear it after this one, right? Like I already knew it was coming. I wasn't in the mood. Like, Mook, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. So I respected that one. I respected that one.
But no, we had a lot of good times. We had a lot of good times together.
Hey, Mook, I want to bring you back to your younger days, playing Little League Baseball, man. I think if I noticed right, your mom was your first coach, right, back in the day?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Answer me this. How has she inspired you to be the baseball player you are and to be the person you are? Because that's unbelievable. Have your mom being your first coach. Usually you think about it's like an old man or somebody else, but your mom was on your ass all day. So I love every second about that.
Yeah, she was. So I don't know that she really inspired me to play ball because I just wanted to play ball, but she instilled a competitive nature in me that it's unbelievable. Like I on the outside, I'm like this soft and I just be chilling, but on the inside, it's like fire. Like it really is fire, and she really put that in me. And I think the outside is my dad. My dad is super calm, chill, but learning that from 4 years old. I remember I could throw the ball to first base, but the kid couldn't catch it, and so my mom was like, "Well, we're not gonna lose this game. So every ball you get, you run over there and touch first base. You run and tag. You run and do this, that, and so like that's kind of what she put in me, and it like she still does it now. I mean, she like if we're losing or something, she tells me, "Move, come on, let's go. You need to take over the game. You need to do this, that, and the other." And I'm like, "Mom, there's other professionals out here as well. Their mom probably did the same thing, And so, but that's what she does, man. And even bowl, like when we go bowling is the main thing where she gets super, super competitive. And super. She still tries to teach me and all that other stuff. I'm like, Mom, I don't even know why you still trying to teach me how to bowl, but that's the competitive nature is what I remember the absolute most. I mean, 4 years old and she's pissed about losing games and all this other stuff. I'm like, at the time it was awesome, but now looking back on it, I'm like, Mom, we were 4. There's and we stink. That was the other thing. We were bad. I think we only won like one or two games out of, I don't even know how many games we played. And so, but being super, super competitive on a losing team like that had 0% chance of winning anything, that's what I took home the most.
No doubt. And now, what did Muncie say? He's better than you at tackling and hitting the ball further. So what can't you do, man? Jesus, with everything you got going on with you, man. I got a competitor for you in ping pong, Louis Guillorme, undercover.
Oh no, Mets. His hands are great. The way he feels ground balls. That makes sense why he would be really.
You got to
really
see him on the ping pong table. I tell you what, I would love to see that.
Well, Mook can play ping pong. We played a lot of ping pong spring training, and I would say he was top 5. Chris Sale was really good.
Sale
Devin Marrero was really good. And we had a guy. You remember Jansen Whitty, minor league camp?
Oh, Whitty, yeah. He came over from the minor leagues to face Sale.
We brought him over because he was so good. We wanted to see him face Sale. And dude, we had a lot of good ping pong players. So I would say Mook's good at a lot of things. Ping pong, he wasn't the best, but let's tell the world, Mook, what's something that you are not good at that like you just can't do. Look at him. He's got to think for a while. He can't even think of something.
I'm not sure because if I can't do it, I'm probably not trying to do it. If that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? So if I go to play golf and I realize I'm not good at golf, I'm not going to keep playing golf. And that's one thing my mom always said. She was like, "Mook, most parents are like, hey, if you're not good at something, keep working hard at it, and eventually you'll get good at it." My mom was like, "If you're not good at something, find something else."
Do something you're good
That's
at.
really good advice.
Yeah. So that's top 5 Diana quotes for sure. Find something else. That's what I'm gonna tell my son, man. Hey, you're not good at that, bro. You need to find something else.
I feel like that's actually really like good real talk from, faces in the sport. Like, you're talking to a kid's camp or something and you're like, guys, like have a great time out here. And if you're not good at it, like there's a billion other things in the world that you can try.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So to answer my question, Mook is not good at anything.
That I do.
That he does. So he's just not going to do it if he's not good at it.
Right. Like if you see me go, like I'm not going to go play hockey or ice skate or something. I'm not good at it. So I'm not going to get on the ice skates. I just would say, I'll go watch you though. I have no problem watching you and cheering you on and doing, or Griff, or anybody, but me actually going to do it. No. If I'm doing something, I apply myself to be the best that I can be at it.
Hey, could we see you possibly facing Steph Curry in a golf match here coming up soon? Maybe you and like a Trout versus Curry and whomever. You know what I mean? We need to get the baseball guys on this Vegas thing here. I think that'd be awesome.
We do, but they play it during our season.
Yeah,
and,
that's true.
Yeah.
Baseball is 24 months long, so we don't have any time. And in 10 years when me and Trout are done playing, then yeah, But until then, I'll be swinging at this little white thing coming over the plate.
Damn, that would be something.
Hey, Mookie, if you're, I know because you talk about stuff like this on your show. If you're commissioner for a day, what do you want to do right now in the sport? It could be a rule. It could be something like business-wise, marketing, whatever, right? Like I'm giving you the job for the day. What's something that you want to do where sometimes you're out there and you're like, man, I wish we did this in our sport?
If there was one thing that I would do as commissioner, I would make it mandatory that every team has a dome. Because road trip, we got delayed 3 times. And being in LA, there's never a delay. You just play. When there's a 7-10 game, you're playing at 7-10. So I would make it mandatory. Every team has a dome. That way it's nice and cool everywhere. You don't have to worry about this Texas heat or the Boston cold. And you just, everything's the same. So, yeah, I'm going with domes.
Dude, so like, I mean, we're in New York, Toddfather and me in New York, New Jersey area. And it's like when the Mets and the Yanks put up their new ballparks, I'm like, you guys are so rich. You can't put a freaking retractable. Now Steve Cohen wants to put one on after the fact, but it's like difficult to pull off. And I'm like, we have weather issues all the time up here. It sucks. It's a good call.
Hey, Mook didn't like the cold either. When it was cold in Boston, this dude had like 3 pairs of batting gloves on. Like
I always 2 batting gloves, 2 lizard skins.
I mean, his bat was like this thick, and he was still pulling balls in the left-handed batter's box off the monster.
I'm telling you though, you want to piss off a fan base, have them sit through nowadays a 6-hour rain delay or something like that in a playoff game where you paid big dough.
Yeah.
Brutal.
100%.
It happened with the Yanks a few times last year. Yeah,
I'm telling you, I know it's expensive. But I think that should be implemented.
It's worth it. I'm with you.
7-inning games.
No.
The doubleheader for sure.
Yeah, all right, doubleheader for
the
sure.
7-inning doubleheaders.
I'm big on 7 innings. See you later.
I'm cool with 7-inning games too. I'm cool with all that. Like the 7-inning doubleheaders, you felt like you played one game.
No doubt. No doubt.
7-inning games would be amazing. It would just be kind of hard when you get like, one of the star pitchers that we have, Ohtani, going
7
inning game. That's a problem, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, also fans will be like, "Wait, it was an hour game."
Perfect.
We got out of there quick. I don't think anybody complained about it.
As you get older, man, it's like I'll take 7. I'll take 6. I don't care.
You get there for BP.
I'll take the tie, so we don't have to play extras. Get me the hell out of here.
No, we'll get a swing off. Mookie can rep the swing off right there in extras.
Oh yeah. No. I'm not doing this thing. No.
Hey, last thing. I got one more for you.
All right.
I know you've been asked this before. No Tampa or nothing, but Ohtani, man. Yeah. This guy, is he getting traded or what? I'll just ask you that. You think he's even getting traded?
I I don't see how he doesn't get traded. But to the owner's point, like I can't be the one that traded, the best player probably maybe they ever played the game, right? But I feel like you got to trade him, and whoever gets him, I mean, they're instantly better. I mean, they're instantly playoff bound, and that's how good he is. It's super neat to watch someone at the one of the best players in the game play at the top of their abilities. I think that's super cool to watch, and seeing it's amazing, and it's kind of not fair, kind of what he does. He's so big and does everything, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I love watching it.
It's been fun to cover for us too. I mean, it could be the biggest trade ever.
What is it like? What is it like? Like, Ohtani hit another homer. Oh, Ohtani went 7 steady. Oh, what is it? What is it like? Is it boring or what is it?
No, it's incredible. But you know what happens is, like, sometimes fans will be like, "You guys are talking about Ohtani too much." I'm like, "I'm sorry. Did you watch the games last night?" And then also when there's trade talk and all this shit going on, I'm like, "What do you want us to do?" Most fans love it, but like sometimes fans will be like, "Oh, move on to other teams." I'm like, "Okay, we do. It's a 2-hour show. We talk about everyone, but right now you got to talk about him almost every day, no?"
I mean, what he's doing every day is, and that's the other thing. It's every day he's hitting. It's not like he's hitting 240 with 40 homers. He's hitting 300. He's stealing bases. He's pitching. He's doing everything, and so I feel like, yeah, that's from the. I'm thinking of it from you guys' side.
No,
he's gonna be fun to play with next year, isn't he?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. He's buying all the dinners, that's for sure.
All right.
He's gonna get a little, probably a little 6 in front of his zeros.
Yeah, I wonder if you know how you said how it was crazy what I turned down. I wonder if he's even turned anything down, and what number it was that he did turn down.
Yeah,
I bet you
he's going to give a number, and if it's not on there, then he's going to go nuts.
Someone else is calling.
I want him on the East Coast, man. So I want to see him play more.
Good luck.
Well, yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see about that.
All right.
We'll be talking about it every day. Hey, Mookie, dude, it was awesome having you on, man. Appreciate the time. Do your thing. Good luck in the series this weekend, and love to have you back sometime. And we love watching what you're doing on your show.
Thank you, guys. That boy, I love you, man, and I will
love you, bro.
Couple days, bro.
Yes, sir.
See you guys.
Appreciate you. Cheers.
You,
talk to you soon, Mookie. Make sure you check out his show as well, On Base with Mookie Betts. We'll post more about it coming up. Also, that was our Recreate Player Access. Recreate's the official CBD of MLB. They want to send you to the 2023 World Series. Follow @hello_recreate on IG. Post a photo in your favorite baseball gear using the hashtag #LivePlayRecreate along with the hashtag RC Sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Ends July 31st. Open to legal residents of the 50 U.S. states and D.C., age 18 plus. For rules, visit charlottesweb.com/World Series. Recreate the official CBD of Major League Baseball. I mean, seriously, check that out. You want to go to the World Series? Hello. Do we have our next guest ready to go? Or he needs a minute? Not yet? Okay. But I can promise you, coming soon, right after Mookie, Tyler Glasnow is going to join us from the Tampa Bay Rays in just a moment. So let's have a Friday. That was fun, though. That was cool.
Yeah. No, Mook's great, man. Like he's just himself. It don't matter. He'll talk about anything. Just a good dude, man. Like I said, one of my favorite teammates, one of my best friends. So it was cool to have him on and get his take on some things.
That was wild, though, when you think about it. I was looking back. So it was like, he got offered $200. Now, Soto is another world. I mean, it was $440 was the offer.
I think they got up to $300 too with Mook.
Was it? Okay.
I think it every year, every spring training, they upped it about $100 million. I think it started at 100. The next year it was 200. The next year was 300. And I was like, Mook, what the hell are you doing, dude? Like, what can you buy with 300 that you can't buy with 200? But he believed in himself, and as a player like that, I think, for future players too, right? It's they're betting on themselves, and they're trying to drive up the price, and shoot, Mookie's worth every penny, in my opinion.
What did he say when you were like, "Hey, what can you get with 3 hundo instead of 2 hundo?" Maybe
I
have an
can't-
answer: retractable roof.
Retractable roof, yeah, at every stadium. No, I can't remember, but he probably said something like, "Shoot, I'm going for 400, bro," or something like that. And I mean, by the time he's done, I mean, I saw something the other day. It's like the the Bobby Bonilla day, right? $1 million. Like, wait till the Mookie Betts day. He's getting like $15 million a year till he's like 50 years old or something like crazy like that. So, good for him, man. Like I said, couldn't be more proud of him. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
That's
you're
what I'm saying.
right.
That's what I'm saying. He's doing all this other stuff
in that deal.
Yeah, a lot of deferrals.
I've got the deal. I pulled it up last night. His deal's got deferrals. Ready? So it's 12 years, 365. That was the extension. That runs through 2032 as a player. There was a $65 million signing bonus.
Ooh.
Yeah, but a ton of deferrals that count out after that for a long time. I don't have all the details on what it looks like for
There's
the
nothing,
long term,
there's
but
nothing better when you're retired knowing you're just going to get a check randomly
Dude,
in the mail.
I'm telling you, dude. Like, and I mean, it's like big money too. It's like
No,
I think it's like 15 million,
Yep.
15 million, 14 million, 10 million, 11 like for like 10 years in a row.
they don't
That's what I'm
send
saying.
checks though anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Well,
yeah,
want
you
the
wake up,
check.
you check your bank
Yeah.
account, right? You wake
Yeah.
up, you check your bank account, like, oh, okay, I'm doing all right. Well, that's what I'm saying. He's doing all this other stuff. I'm like, dude, you don't have to do anything except play baseball, but that's who he is, right? He just likes to do things and be out there, and he's helping the game out a lot.
I thought one of his most clutch lines, which is just real talk in the world, was, if you're not that good at something, sure, sometimes work at getting better, but also you can cut it and you can try something else. You know what I'm saying?
Find
For
something
some
you're good
people,
at.
it's smart. Like, some people pursue a dream for a long time,
Keeping it real.
and then don't realize that they're actually good at something else, and then that becomes their dream.
Well, yeah, find something
Imagine
you're
him
good
at a baseball practice with like a bunch of baseball players, and they're like, "What's your best advice, kids? If you're not a natural talent and you can't catch all my throws over at first base, maybe try soccer."
There you go.
Anything else. But and he's such in awe of Ohtani, and I think that's another thing we got to talk about, how these big time bats and these big time major leaguers who are the best in their sport know he is the best player in the world.
They want to know from, that's why I thought it was cool. He wants to know from guys like you, right? So you guys played, but now you're not currently playing, and you're on the other side, but you're talking about baseball pretty frequently. Like, he wants to know from you guys, like, are you that much in awe like the players are? And that's why I wanted to make sure he knew. Sometimes there's fans that have like Ohtani fatigue, but I'm like, what do you, first of all, we're not spending 2 hours on him, but
No.
he's going to get talked about right now. I mean, look at the season he's having. And to me, Brock, the drama that adds to it is, it's not just what he's doing on the field. Like, there's a lot of drama within the team and the front office of a dude that's going to be a free agent. He's doing this in his free agent season.
Yeah, I mean, you could say it over and over again, right? It's like you hear guys like Todd said, guys like Mookie talk about this guy, and almost speechless about what he's able to do on a baseball field. And I mean, it's like, why do you guys keep talking about Ohtani? Well, because he just threw 7 innings and struck out 10, but also hit a homer, and stole 2 bases. Oh, by the way, he's leading the league in triples. Like, it's crazy. Like, baseball's hard. It's not as easy as he makes it look, and he's doing it at the highest level there is. There's not another level that he can go up. He's at the highest, and he's the best in the world, making it look easy.
The other part to me with Mookie was, of course, getting to the Boston combo a little, but then spinning it forward, that it sounds like he's grateful for how it all played out. Not just from the money perspective, but he's like, traffic, other coasts, I'm good here. And then he's like, actually, I love it here. Weather's cool. Likes the vibes. Feels like his personality is coming out a little more. I can see what he's saying. I mean, Brock, you can speak to this in Boston. Do you feel like you have to be on defense a little more sometimes there because of the way that you're interacting with the media every day? And there's almost like, I don't want to call them trolls, but sometimes, the way that guys will ask questions up there, they're looking to grab a quote that they can throw around.
Yeah.
Be like, look what I got him to say. And I don't think the LA media is necessarily doing that.
No, I agree. I mean, like Mookie said, he said players are running, like trying to run away from the media, and I don't know that he's doing that or they're doing that in LA so much, but I mean, there would be times where, in Boston, it'd be like, all right, let's get in, let's shower, let's get the heck out of here. So they can't ask us questions because there are certain guys who are coming for some type of dirt or they're just lingering around and trying to listen in on conversations, So, but yeah, Boston is, like you said, man, I think Mookie, I mean, he is Hollywood now, but I think that was a great move for him. And he loves it there. I mean, he said it, his family loves it there. He loves it there. And you love to see guys, end up places that they enjoy. And like I said, man, one of my best friends, couldn't be more happy for him, proud of him. And, obviously root for him every day.
And to your point, guys want to get the heck out of it. Back in the day, back when I first came up, if you weren't staying after the game for an hour and a half shooting the shit with the boys talking about the game, man, you were, what's wrong with you? Nowadays, shower, grab something to eat and go. I remember Bronson Arroyo told me, listen, you better sit your butt down and eat that food with everybody else. You're not going, like, all right, I had to text my wife. Just go home. I'm out of, I'll see you when I get back. But that's, the game's different, but same time, we got to get back to those kind of roots.
Hey, let's bring in our next guest. It's Charlotte's Web Player Access, sponsored by Recreate. The great Tyler Glasnow joining us right now from the Tampa Bay Rays. What's up, dude? How you doing?
What's up? I'm good. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Wow, look at that hair.
He's got good flow.
That is not.
Stop it.
Oh, stop it.
Dude, how's this series? Like, I watched the game last night. I know you guys didn't come out on top, but point for me was playoff vibes. Like, two young, hungry, competitive ball clubs. We're playing in July right now, and the stadium seemed like it was pretty lit up and excited for this.
Yeah, it was crazy. I definitely think it's probably like a anticipated series. I think in the beginning of the year, if you asked who were like the first two top teams, I don't think anyone would have like assumed, maybe, but yeah, it was gnarly. I think it definitely felt a lot more like not postseason-y, but like closer to the end of season, like a lot more like cutthroat type of baseball yesterday for sure.
So I want to get back to when I played against you a little bit, the couple times I faced you. So I want people to understand, facing somebody like you, first of all, you got the body stature like a Randy Johnson, but from the right side, like looking like Shaquille O'Neal on the mound, for one. You got one of the nastiest curveballs I've ever seen. You made me look silly, not just once, but a couple times. But explain to the kids out there how you used that curveball to your advantage, for one, and how you started making it so good, because you don't see many people throw curveballs anymore, and yours is just so deceptive and so nasty, especially since you throw that hard.
I think like since I was young, I've always been able to like supinate, just like get on the right side of a baseball. I think I got like weird, like strange, like wrist alignments, just being so tall. I walk around like a weirdo too. Like I got strange wrists. But I've always just been able to like spin a ball well. I always struggled with like command of it, especially when I was younger. But I think like the consistency of throwing it more often, I got a lot more comfortable with it. And I think as like I got stronger and I just became more like aware of my body, like better proprioception, I was able to kind of like put it into a zone. And like the only thing I think about now is I don't even necessarily try to throw it for a strike ever. I just try to throw it like as aggressive as I can and make it look like a heater. Like if I just threw a fastball down, I'm trying to throw it like 45 feet. I want it to look exactly like that heater. So if I'm trying to throw up with my heater, but I miss down, I'm just trying to make it look identical. And there's a lot of times I'll throw it like, it's tough for catchers. Like I'll really shortchange the catcher there, and I have a lot of pass balls and stuff. But I think for like swing and miss rate and for like tunneling purposes, I just try to make it look like a heater and not necessarily trying to like drop it in unless it's like early in the count or something like that.
No doubt. Are you big on analytics? Are you studying your pitches and all that kind of stuff as well?
It depends on like I like all the spin efficiency stuff and like when I'm good, when I'm bad, like what I feel. I think for me, like physical cues, I can feel. I'm always going to be more like athletic approach. Like I'm not really going to like nerd out on stuff, but I think sometimes if I can marry the two with what I feel physically and what the metrics, what output I can get from that, and if I can kind of combine the two and like use that to make me understand when I'm throwing a good one, that's kind of what I do. So we have like X and Y breaks X and Z. See, I barely know. At the stadium, it's like shows us like the vertical and horizontal metrics, and I look at that all the time. Like some people radar peep, I do both. I radar peep and I look at the two numbers, and I just try to see like which one's good, which one's bad. And a lot of times too, you can tell from the metrics if I'm like late or if I'm early or if I'm something like that. I can kind of just like expedite the like adjustment process. So
That's
it's been
amazing.
super beneficial for me.
No doubt.
Yeah, Tyler, you're talking about your curveball, this and that. Like, dude, you don't need any of that spin. Like your fastball, I'm telling you, Todd, this guy, if there was one pitcher in the major leagues that I got in the box and I had zero chance of doing anything productive, it was Tyler Glasnow, dude. I hated whenever I had to face him. Like, I remember one instance at the Trop. It was a 3-0 count. I'm like, yes, I've got him. I was like, hopefully he throws a ball here, but I'm going to be ready to swing. Like, I'm ready. He throws me a fastball right down the middle, and if I would have swung, I would have, like, the catcher was basically throwing it back to him as I'm getting ready, dude. The hardest fastball I've ever seen. But Tyler, I want to kind of ask, like, like the Rays, man. Like, you obviously came from Pittsburgh. I got drafted by Pittsburgh, came up with the Pirates, and then got traded. You got to the Rays, man. It seems like the Rays know exactly what to do with pitchers, particularly, because you see guys show up and just have instant success and become, the best versions of themselves. So I'm curious as to what it is that they do that get you guys feeling confident or being able to do what y'all are able to do whenever you get to Tampa.
It's kind of a mixed bag. So generally, like a lot of times early on, I think, well, obviously they'll still do it now, but the formula is, I guess, a little bit more well known, is like they'll get a guy who has like unbelievable stuff, like metrically off the charts, and they'll come from an organization where like they'll harp on like trying like up and away or low and away or whatever, like aim to a smaller zone and try to like not nitpick, but like throw a quality strike. And they'll get a guy like that, and they'll say like have the catcher set up down the middle and just make your stuff as nasty as possible, because the chances of you actually throwing it down the middle, and even if you do throw it down the middle, the chances of them hitting it are still very low. But if you're aiming down the middle and with your command, like probably not going to throw it down the middle. As long as you're getting ahead and throwing strikes, that's the most meaningful thing. And I think the biggest thing when someone's getting traded, obviously it's like maybe a lull in confidence. You're not necessarily doing great, and you come here and you adopt that philosophy, and you have a couple good games, and then now you have like a sick confidence. You're like, wow, I'm doing really well. And then that kind of just snowballs into something more and more and more. And I also think, as like cliche as it sounds, and if you were to tell me this before I got traded here, that this was true, I would probably not believe you. It's like the culture stuff. Like it's true. Like they're so good about like, I don't want to say like no rules, but like it's honestly like, I think within that like old school baseball stuff, there was a lot of like, as a rookie, you come up and you have a lot to worry about. You have a lot to like, you don't want to step on anyone's toes, and like you're trying to be respectful, and you're also in like a really stressful situation. You just got called up, you want to do well, and then you have all these other added things thrown at you. They're honestly just like, come up here and do whatever you want. Just don't be a dick. Like that's like the only rule. And just do whatever you want. Like they're awesome. Like there's times too, they make like your life more like certain little things. And like, this doesn't happen often, but if you were to be like, I want to go to like a wedding, like something, or I don't know, something like small like that, or maybe not like a wedding, but like they're very open to like live your life like you're also a human being, and it's just the most relaxed environment I've ever been a part of. Like, and you and I, Brock, came from the Pirates, which no knock on them, but it was like very like military
Brutal
style, which is really beneficial for certain players. Like some dudes do well in that, like they love the structure, and I'm just not wired like that. Like I'm very much like, I got to be able to kind of like, obviously you need to be a good teammate, but you got to have like autonomy, and they were just good at that.
I have a hard time understanding that, because, and not what you're saying about what Tampa's doing, but more where there's so many teams. I know this for a fact. You'll talk to people that work for front offices, and the Rays are one of the teams that are brought up. They're like, our team's trying to be more like the Rays, right? In terms of their front office, their culture, their coaching, their development. So then why don't more teams copy that part of the equation? Like, why are there teams that are still like more buttoned up about things when guys just want to be themselves and have fun, and then that'll unlock the best of their ability?
I think it comes from like baseball was always so like unquantifiable. Like you never really understood. I guess you did, but like a lot. You know how like the Moneyball reference where they're like the guy's got a good eye makeup and he's like tall and there's like no real metric of like what makes a good player. Obviously, you can see a guy who's good, but there was never like a concrete idea of how of what like a good player was anywhere, not as specific as it is today. I guess like you have data on every single pitch, like why a guy's good, what his extension is, what his spin is, how accurate he is in the zone. Like the Rays have a 30+ person R&D team. Like they're just in there like coding their faces off, and like it's just like all this cutting edge, like all the data, and they're like stripping through the data and finding the best arms. And like maybe certain teams get overlooked, certain guys get overlooked. They find them and then they try to find their strengths. I think it's hard to mimic that, I guess, with like the R&D type of stuff, but I don't know. I think it was just before, like you want, like it's natural to just try to control something. Like if you own a team or you're a GM, you're like, I want to have control over the players and I want to understand, like understandably you want to have like an idea of what's going on. And I think it was just like a lapse in like, let's control the way that they shave and they do this and they do that. Like we're a team, and it's like very like the old school, like militant style type of thinking, which isn't wrong. It's just like, I think it's just evolved a little bit past that. So I think it's just people trying to like control too many things, possibly. I don't know, but that's just what I assume. Like,
Hey, so talk about a guy that's not getting overlooked, Shohei Ohtani, man. I heard recently you talked about how his free agency should be making over the $600 million. I mean, talk about him. Did the analytics at the Rays think about him? What do they think about him coming over maybe eventually down the road?
I saw some rumors that the two were like trying to get him. I'm down. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to take a lot to get him on the team, but he seems like a guy, if you're going to spend, that's who you spend on. But yeah, I guess too, from what I was saying, like in terms of it was hard to quantify talent, that guy's not hard to quantify. Like everyone, you don't even need to know anything about baseball, and you can be like, that guy's probably the best player. So he's just a freak. He's just unbelievable at sports. That's who he is. He's just good.
Hey, what do you want to see? Like, because obviously you've got a great ball club. Do you get excited at the trade deadline if someone strolls in, whether it's him or another big name, right? Because obviously you want to be with your boys and you're going through it together. But then at the same time, I mean, there's been past trade deadlines where a player will come out with a team and be like, yeah, we didn't do enough. And, you know, we wanted to see more faith from our front office. Are you thinking that way too? Or the team's like, hey, let's see who strolls through the door over the next couple weeks?
I think too, like playing for the Rays is like, you're used to having like a revolving door of players come through here. Like, it's just kind of how it is. It's like a lower market team and dudes are in and out all the time. And like, they take winning extremely serious. Like the front office is like, it's very data driven. It's like, let's not maybe get too emotional with it. Like, who's good, who's bad. If this guy's better than this guy, we can plug him in and our team will be better. So like I don't know if there's too much, like it would obviously, like you want to go to war with your dudes and stuff, but I think a lot of people are always open to like, you want to have the best team possible and you're trying to like beat the best teams in baseball. And if you have any chance to like improve your team, then you got to take it.
All right, Tyler, it's like overwhelming questioning going on from our chat here that we get live from our fans. They want to know because it's super timely. I know you've been asked about this a lot. You've got your doppelganger and they're like, Oppenheimer coming out. So I know you've been asked about it a lot. And how do you say the name of the Peaky Blinders dude?
Is it Killian or Cillian? Or
Thomas Shelby.
There we go. That guy.
Well,
I think it's Killian.
Killian, yeah. So they're like, is he going to see the movie? Do you get asked about him a lot?
Yeah, I want to see it really bad. There's a bunch of good movies out. Yeah, I really want to see Oppenheimer. I've wanted to see it for a while. I get asked that a lot. Like that's like more than that. Like that's probably more than baseball stuff. I'd say. So like, yeah, I don't know. I've never met him. I do kind of look like him though. I see the similarities. Like my family thinks so as well. But yeah.
How come you haven't met him? I mean, I feel like you've been in the league. You've had enough dirt in your spikes. Like that should be set up with the social team or the marketing team. That's a miss.
I think he like lives in Ireland, and I don't know. I don't think he's like out and about too much. I think he's like a kind of a home dude. I think he's like at home just chilling, and then goes and acts, and then leaves. Seems like a relatively normal dude for being like.
You don't think he's a big Rays fan?
Yeah, exactly. No, he loves the Rays, dude. He comes to the Tropicana Field all the time. He sits out
there by the Stingrays.
Yeah, he likes. Yeah, he loves the wildlife and stuff. It's great. So yeah.
Hey, Tyler, question for you. I remember going back to the postseason. I think it was either last year or the year before. Terry Francona said, man, Tyler Glasnow is going to make every kid want to get Tommy John surgery because of how you've come off of that. So do you have a PSA where you'd like to let any kids know, like, don't get it unless you really need it, but also don't be scared, right? Because it's worked out. And do you feel even better than pre-surgery?
Yeah, I definitely would say don't get it. Like, try not to get it. But if you do need to get it, it's like pretty not foolproof. Like, there's always a chance of something like not going well. But like, there's that new one too I got with Dr. Meister in Dallas. It's the double one. So it's like you get an internal brace and a UCL. So they take your palmaris and they weave it through, and then they put this like synthetic zip tie type of thing that like can pull a semi truck, and they like weave it into your arm. So it's like very strong. And so I'd say, like, with where medicine and everything is, like, definitely don't be afraid. Just take your rehab seriously, do that well, get in really good shape, and then like you'll be back to where you are for sure.
Solid. Sounds
Yeah, I
good.
like that. I like that.
I never had it. So
you're not a pitcher,
well,
obviously.
I might now, though. I've been throwing BP like at least 200-300 pitches every couple of days. I get it. I get after it. I
Medicine.
get after it.
Get it. You can throw 500 BP pitches if you get it, dude. Think about the
True. Yes. Bionic arm. All right. Last one from me, Tyler. So your team, in my mind, is underrated still nationally in the personalities that are there. We're talking to current players every day on our show. Give us like your best story about one of your teammates so far this year. Obviously, Randy's a total character. Yandy's got funny stuff to him. Like, what's the best moment you've had with one of your like kind of colorful characters on the Rays so far this year? And if you have to go back in time, that's fine too.
I think like the Randy boots was awesome in 20. That was like the brand new, like the coming out of Randy. That was really funny. I love like Siri this year is hilarious. To like his like everything he does is funny, and like the energy he brings is really, really funny. But yeah, Randy's always just like cracking jokes and doing something. And I appreciate too, like the consistency and stuff. Like we had the Randy Land Day or whatever, and he was like sneaking like 15 balls into left and like throwing baseballs out and like signing for people. And it doesn't really matter. Like that's a tough position to be in as a player, especially if you're like not playing well, you know, and you have to like maintain that type of like happiness. And no matter if he's like 0 for 4 or 5 for 5, like he's always just down to be just joke around and be Randy. So I really like appreciate his consistency with it. But he's just always got just good vibes going. You know, a lot of people on our team do.
Yeah, we've had a lot. We're big Rays fans here on Foul Territory. We've had Rayleigh, Pete Fairbanks. We've had Brandon Lowe. Brandon Lau. Shit, my bad. Gosh dang it. You know, I always say that because I was teammates with Nathaniel, who it was Nate, but then he changed it to Nathaniel. So I was teammates with him, so that's why I always say
you're the billionth person to mess that up, so you're good, Brock.
Sorry. Brandon Lau, Sweet and Lau. Who's the next Ray we need to have on here?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Maybe Cash?
Yeah, he's the best. I think Cash would be great on this. Yeah. I'd say as far as managers go or something, Cash is definitely the move. Motor or hitting coach is good too. You should have Motor on. And then as far as players, like Shane's always like McClanahan's always a good time. I'd say he's probably, and he's nasty, good pitcher too, you know, meets both requirements. So maybe him.
Yes, I like that. Yeah, I want to get Shane Mack. That's a good idea. Tyler, awesome
Colin
having you
Poche
on.
too. Colin Poche, that dude's hilarious.
Colin Poche? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've spoken to
There
him
we go.
before.
Look, see, that's why
that
the
was
Rays,
the sneaky name I needed. Yeah.
Listen. That's why the Rays are so good, man. Because Tyler keeps just dropping names like, no, this. Oh wait, no this. Oh no, this guy. That's just they got a bunch of good dudes, man.
A lot of them.
It's a TV friendly team though too. Like there's a lot going on, like you were talking about. Randy's got his thing. Siri's got everyone wearing necklaces. Like dude, it's been fun to watch. So we're enjoying it, man. Great to catch up with you. Keep doing your thing.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
All right,
Tyler.
All right, see you.
Cheers. Tyler Glasnow talking to us on Foul Territory. Yeah, I mean, the Rays they've got a lot going on personality-wise. It's been really fun. I mean, I've watched them probably as much as any other team this year in baseball. Hey, a reminder after our little Recreate player access, Recreate wants to send you to the World Series. Okay. It's up there. Check it out. You can win a trip. It's this year's World Series. If you enter, follow @hello_Recreate on IG for more info. No purchase necessary. It ends July 31st. That's soon. Got to be 18 plus to enter. And for rules, visit charlottesweb.com/World Series. Recreate is the official CBD of Major League Baseball. Woo, that was a good hour. That was a very strong. That was a very strong hour. Let's do a little slap hands extra as we're in extra innings. Only thing I want to say is, besides that, Kratz will be back next week from his book tour. Toddfather week next week. Are you ready?
Every day.
Are you ready to be as Kratz is gonna? He's gonna say this week you're a grinder.
I'm gonna catch up on my sleep this weekend, and that's
we got. I'm at Toddfather spot. I think every day next week, Monday through Friday. Let's bring it, baby.
You got a couch behind you if you need.
Hell yeah!
There you go.
Hell yeah! Nah, Jesse behind the scenes takes that up, but
CC Sabathia, happy birthday, big dog. Love you, man.
There you go.
Let's go.
We gotta get CC on.
Well, yeah, we'll get him on.
Yeah. Brockstar, you were great this week, dude.
Thank you. Yeah,
he was like, "That's it."
He was like, okay,
that's it.
I think I made like two appearances or so, 2 or 3. That's
did.
Good
you
for
made
me.
2. You had Clemens earlier this week. Well, you can see more of that if you missed any of it. Best of Foul Territory. Check it out this weekend. Otherwise, we'll see everyone on FT Live next week for the Toddfather Takeover.